3, 2, 1. It looks like audio's working. Yo, Gamma, say something. See if this is working on your end.
Sup?
Cool.
What's
Cool. What's up, Space Builder E? Looks like it's working on my end. So cool. Alright. Okay, yeah, this is totally working. Howdy, howdy. Welcome back to my tiny corner of the internet. So, in today's video, we're going to be addressing, you know, the ongoing drama that just seems to never be ending with the pro-male community, you know, or the pro-male collective, which is kind of weird, is because the fact is I figured that, like, we could have had some good discussions previously and find some, like, common ground to talk about the cost of living crisis and how that affects, like, you know, young men. You know, I really would have thought that we were going to, like, go down this route and have some good discussions. It's because, like, as you already know, I'm somebody who talks on this channel a lot about the cost of living crisis. I talk about how that affects ordinary people. I talk about how that affects particularly young men when it basically destroys the ability of family formation, okay? You know, so I've talked about this, like, quite a bit, you know, on my channel. And so when these guys approached me, they wanted to talk about a previous video, you know, from God knows, like, years ago. You know, it was a video when I was talking more about cultural issues. I hadn't talked about cultural issues in perhaps, you know, 2 or 3 years, probably 2 years is probably the accurate one. I'm not too terribly sure, but I've been mostly focusing on, like, cost of living crisis related stuff. So, you know, when it came to, you know, cultural issues, it's just not my cup of tea. Is because right now, you know, an objective fact of reality. What's up, old guardhouse? Hope you're doing well. But, like, you know, an objective fact of reality is we're all getting poorer in our country as, you know, the cost of living is getting infinitely worse. Yeah, you're going to have haters. Yeah, you're always going to have haters. And that's kind of the thing. It's like, so I figured these guys would have had common ground because they were MRAs. And if you don't know what an MRA is, they're just a men's rights activist, okay? And I usually don't really get into the loaded language about this stuff is because I think it's a bit hyperbolic and a little bit stupid, right? But, you know, I found it quite odd that, you know, out of all the channels that they decided to reach out to do an interview over, they chose mine, is because the fact is there's tons of channels that talk about men's issues. I'm a cost of living crisis channel, so I figured that they would have wanted to talk about something related to that, but they didn't. They wanted to talk about cultural issues, okay? And I talked about this a little while ago. You know, I've talked about it is that, like, you know, we're going to attract haters. We're going to attract people who just want to sidetrack the entire time. I had figured from yesterday that, you know, after the discussion, you know, we had yesterday, that, like, things would have ended on a more positive note. But then I went to his channel and I started looking at it, you know, and I started going on it. You know, I figured that, okay, debate with me and Alistair, didn't really consider it a debate. It seemed like a, you know, a good discussion. Okay, it seemed like it was like, okay, I didn't agree with everything. That's totally fine. Nobody has to agree with everything. Until I see this, I'm like, City Crusher. I thought you know, what's his name? You know, this guy who just came on my channel yesterday told me that he didn't have a beef with me. You know, that it seemed like we had a good conversation. And this guy, yeah, is he bad enough to be on the Ganges dumping list? Yeah, he's going to be dumped into the Ganges River, dude. You know, 100% is because the fact is these guys are trying to sideswipe. This is the thing I hate about it. With these types of people, they will try to drag you into the culture war time and time again. One thing they'll never talk about is the cost of living crisis, particularly how that affects ordinary men at all, okay? So I go to it, and I see City Crusher. He's right here. I'm glad we dealt with this liar the way that I did. No regrets. I wouldn't act like that myself, but he has proven that he's deserved that treatment from you. What treatment? I brought you on my channel to have a good discussion about your side of the aisle, okay? I was polite to you. And then, you know, your second guy who wanted to do another interview is now trash-talking me, okay? I don't get this. And then his audience are scum. Yeah, bro's a casual Sabathon enjoyer. Like, really? You're gonna go, like, trash-talking my guys again? So apparently all you guys, all the green hats in the chat, you guys are nothing but scum. Is because the fact is, how dare you talk about the cost of living crisis? How dare you talk about, you know, the rich pedophiles who run our country? You know, how dare you talk about any of the things that substantively matter for ordinary people and actually living in modern society? Yeah, it's basically because we're a threat, okay? It's because we put a bunch of green hats on ourselves and we basically say we hate rich people. Even City Cucker himself has come out and basically said that he hates us because we're Marxists, effectively. Even though we're not fully Marxist, not even all the people in my audience are Marxist. That's the funny part. Let's get some green hats in the chats, right? Because that's kind of the funny part. He's going around screaming about how we're an obnoxious, you know, crazy audience. You know what? We are. We are assholes. We don't capitulate. We don't tolerate this bullshit. We want to have a decent standard of living. We don't like the fact that our jobs are being offshored, that we're being made alien in our own homeland. And that's our talking points. The fact that you would come to this channel, which you know out the box talks about the cost of living crisis, that talks about class politics, to bring your gender culture war bullshit to our side of the aisle, tells me that I'm doing something right. Something that my audience is doing right, because we're talking about class issues. Okay? And that's kind of tragic, is because the fact is I gave you ample opportunity to talk to my audience about the cost of living crisis and how it negatively affects young men, but you didn't. You wanted to talk about that. You wanted to talk about a gazillion other things besides the cost of living crisis. What's up, Thick Boy? Hope you're doing well. But yeah, no, unironically, go pound sand, dude. You can cry about my moderators. You can cry about my audience being scum. Put some green hats in the chat, dude. We don't give a shit. You can call us assholes all you want. We're going to make fun of you is because the fact is we're staying concrete on the core issues that matter to us, which is class issues. We're all getting stupidly poor because you want to blame feminists for everything under the sun. And that's not to absolve, you know, any of the stupid shit feminists did at all. I'm not going to do that, which is kind of funny is because, you know, they went to go bitch and complain on their stupid little channel about how I'm somehow closeted like feminist and I'm being controlled by my wife. It's one of the most insultingly stupid fucking things, right? But at the end of the day, the entire smear that is being done against us in our group is because we talk about class issues. You know, when that post I did on my community post section a little bit earlier, you know, where he's talking about, oh, your mods are assholes. Notice how he doesn't go around to any of the other, you know, content creators like Jimmy Talks, okay? Who's a far-right content creator that has said far more yikesy things about me. No, he wants to come bust my balls for being an offensive asshole on the internet. That I hurt people's feelings, okay? He wants to come busting my balls. He doesn't bust anybody else's balls when it comes to this stuff, but he only tacitly chooses mine. Why? Because we talk about the cost of living crisis. We say we hate billionaires and we don't give a shit. That's why. So put them green hats in the chat without an ounce of shame whatsoever. But yeah, what's your take on this, Gamma? Anybody else want to come up to the stage? I think I've given my intro rant on trying to basically make peace with these guys, try to understand their side of the aisle, and then have myself and my own audience. And that was funny. My audience, you guys, I remember watching you agree with a lot of his points, even though he's like yelling, he's chimping out, he's whining, he's acting like a complete fucking bitch, you know, on the interview, and I'm being polite to him, trying to understand his side of the aisle, understand men's issues when it comes to the cost of living crisis, and then he spits in all our faces. Why? I don't fucking get it. What was the necessity of any of this shit? You know, looking here in the browser.
It's the fact that the fucking true retard. Sorry.
Yeah.
Fuck. I probably can't say that word, right?
Yeah. You can say retard. Nobody cares.
Understanding. Well, yeah, he's a complete retard. He doesn't understand any of my own views, yet he was trying to debate with me.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Like, he kept on pestering me to debate with him. Yet he didn't even know what I fucking think.
Yeah,
like,
so what are you guys' thoughts? Let's hear your guys' thoughts. Because I've dealt with this. I've been getting pinged in the notifications, and I've been told consistently that, like, you know, when it comes to this stuff, it's like, I'm bad-faithing City Crusher. I'm like, dude, I'm not bad-faithing you. Your arguments are pretty much a biological pathologization of women, which is, you know, honestly, if you want to have that discussion, more power to you, right? But the fact is, you're coming to a channel that explicitly talks about the cost of living crisis, that talks about class issues, that talks about working class issues, and then gets mad at us for not always talking about your talking points when you know what we talk about is, quite frankly, pathetic and fucking insulting. Yeah, because the fact is, you know what we care about.
Yeah. For me, this is my perspective on the whole hubbub about the men's rights crap. For me, I believe that City Crusher, he was basically doing the routine of anything but class, where he's trying to distract us from the real issues by pinning the issues on women and using them as a scapegoat instead of actually taking a look at the root cause of the issues, which is the damn billionaires.
The reason why what's-his-name left the stream so pissy last time is because, you know, I had basically not completely capitulated on his talking point that it's like feminism that's behind everything. I'm like, dude, this isn't 2016. This isn't 2017. Yes, there are dumbass feminists out there, but the thing is that, like, really, you're gonna blame every secret society on, like, feminism? It's like, now you're just trying to carry a narrative here, and you're just here to waste everybody's fucking time. So he got pissy that I was like, you know, we're gonna move on. He got in an argument with the mods, and he just left the server or whatever, and he threw up. And then he was like, I'm gonna make another video about you. I'm like, why? You've already made 10 crying about me. What, you're gonna make another hour-long video bitching and whining about how my mods are an assholes? Like, get a life, dude. But it's some of the dumbest shit ever. Yeah, we are assholes. We don't give a shit.
Yeah, like I am an asshole, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, like August, like, I'm gonna go ahead and respond to the chat. Yeah, like August, that's the thing that drove me up the wall. It's like, he just wants to find a pathological excuse to blame women. And that's kind of the thing. It's like, you know, the whole gold digger narrative that he keeps talking about that. You know, that's why I even made the little thumbnail title, is because, like, you know, the fact is he's given the Betabuxxer narrative. I was trying to be polite about that earlier, But all he did was basically project like gold diggerism on all women, is because he's never actually been loved by a fucking woman. Then he goes crying to his audience about how apparently I'm pussy whipped or some shit. It's the dumbest fucking shit. It's like, if anybody who's given a bigger self-report is you, it's because all you do is talk about women being gold diggers. Is that the only women you've ever met in your life? Because that's quite frankly fucking pathetic. But yeah, more green hats. Crazy bro was trying to make that syncretic Bolshevik misogyny. Yeah, I don't know why he wasn't even trying to do Bolshevik misogyny, dude. He wasn't even trying to like make, yeah, okay, I guess you're kind of right, is because he was trying to make women the nebulous upper class that secretly controls everything. And it's like, no, you can look at like, you know, who's really pulling the strings. Like, feminism is funded by those demonic corporations. Like, that's kind of the funny part. It's like, you know, the instances and the contentions they have with feminism. You can go back in history and see somebody pulling the strings behind it and those women being just fucking retarded, okay? And that's what I was trying to go on with, you know, Admiral Fitzgerald. You know, I was trying to talk about that instance is because, you know, look who's pulling the strings for these organizations and it's kind of propping them up. It's not hard to look at it that it's a mixed affair. It's not just men or women that are singularly doing this, right? You know, the shaming tactics used in World War I were not, they were not unique. You know, the thing is like those kinds of shaming tactics have been used before. But that's kind of the funny part, is because, like, when I said in the last stream about the whole Betabuxxing thing, right? Because he was basically accusing me of saying, like, you know, that's just the default role. Because he's the one who does believe, like, this is female nature. This is their talking points. This is female nature in their mind, which I think is fucking retarded and deranged, right? But the thing is like, no. He sends me a whole list of, like, women that are, like, gold diggers around, like, the Vegas Strip, their thoughts and stuff like that, saying, that is all women. I'm just like, yeah, okay, that's retarded, buddy. You know, that's going to be a self-report if you're just basically a little pay pig for every woman you've ever met, you know. Oh, well, I guess that some people just project Vindom on everything. But yeah. With that being said, go on.
It's actually quite funny that City Crusher and his fellow audience members project. Basically, they have the projection power of a goddamn IMAX theater, yet they are blind to the fact that they do that instead of having an actual argument.
Yeah,
because for them, still the debates are about who can scream the loudest instead of who has the actual correct point.
Oh, the funny part is if you want to know somebody who's just trying to like clout farm or whatever, or just basically trying to look for a fight, just like agree with them and then watch them get mad at you for agreeing with them. It's because they're just looking for an argument. So I just went in their comment section and be like, true, true, true. I didn't even agree with them deep down. I just did it just because the fact is I knew one person would like bought the bait and just was like, well, you're flat out wrong. I was like, I didn't even say anything. I just said true and agreed with you. You know, this is what they're doing. It's like, you know, if they want to do that, like I said before, it's like, this is the funny part, is because the fact is if they had been a little bit more polite, is because many people on my audience were more than willing to listen to their side of the aisle, but then they wanted to completely bitch out on any kind of discussion, any kind of good faith discussion, to completely, you know, even the second, you know, discussion we had again, like 2 days ago, when we did have it, you know, he just wanted to, you know, content farm it to talk about how I'm a meanie asshole and my audience is psychotic. You know, keep putting some green hats in the chat. Is because, guys, you guys need to calm down. Is because the fact is you're just, you know, defeating people too hard, dude. You're putting too many green hats in the chat. Apparently that's pissing them the fuck off. And also my mods are assholes. That's the funny one.
I'm like probably like one of the biggest assholes, and it's fucking funny.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
And Gamma's teaching me how, and Gamma's my inspiration to start becoming more of an asshole. Because I was already in need of a place to dump my baggage on. And these idiots did the work for me of giving me a reason to dump my personal baggage issues onto them and use that baggage to bludgeon them upside the head with instead of having their stupid little debate.
Yeah, here's my message to City Cucker. Okay, City Cucker, Betabuxxer, Deluxer. Okay, I got something to tell you. Okay, me and my audience care about class issues. We want affordable housing. We want affordable groceries. That is the juxt of our politics. We don't give a shit about any other side-swiping stupid political term you want to bring to our group. You know why we're here. You know why we wear the Luigi hats. You know why we care about these politics, okay? So to dig up a 2-year-old video to start a beef over talking points that I likely don't even have anymore is fucking retarded. Actually address our talking points. If you're gonna get mad at us talking about the cost of living crisis, talking about the fact is the average person cannot afford the average house, you know, why don't you steel man those talking points instead of trying to go to cultural issues to distract everybody? Is because quite frankly, everybody here in my audience is getting sick and tired of your bullshit. They're getting sick and tired of you CCing me to talk about your retarded, like, oh, I'm going to send Alistair an entire video. And this guy literally sent me an hour-long video on female hypergamy. And it's like, bruh, We all know what this shit is going on. We know what this is. I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence in my audience, right? You all know what female hypergamy is. Okay, if you've been around the internet, you've heard of the black pill, you've heard of the red pill, you have heard of all these terms. I don't need to educate you on these things because you already know it. I'm not going to insult your intelligence on this stuff, okay? But the thing is the disingenuity of trying to sideswipe like our politics to talk about something that we don't particularly talk about, which there's nothing wrong if they want to talk about those talking points. If they want to talk about MRA stuff and they want to talk about gender inequality, they're perfectly free to do so. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? If they want to talk about men's issues, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But to consistently play retarded games with people who want to talk about the cost of living crisis, oh, that's obnoxious, man. You could, you know, that's kind of the funny part, is because like how he came up to me first go around to talk about things because he wanted to do an interview is he brought up a video that was 2 years old on my channel. I told him, I was like, I don't really talk about that stuff nowadays because I mostly focus on cost of living crisis stuff. But I'm willing to have a discussion with you, especially with more of my modern content, talking about the cost of living crisis, how nobody can afford their own homes, how people can't settle down and have families, you know, yada, 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 right? You know, I'm willing to talk about these things and how it relates to your things, because I think we have a significant amount of overlap is because I have a lot of young men in my audience who are quite literally a part of Gen Z, who will never own their own homes, who will never be able to settle down and have families because of the cost of living crisis. And he sideswiped all of that to basically give the same rote memorization talking points that you've heard from Myron Gaines on Fresh and Fit. It's like, seriously? You're gonna insult our intelligence like that? Yeah.
Fleshy and fatty.
Yeah. So with that being said, I think I've, you know, given my 15-minute spiel on why these people are fucking insufferable and they just can't play nice. But I think I've given my rant on, you know, City Cucker, Betabuxxer, Deluxer, you know, as much as I possibly could. But that's kind of the thing. It kind of irritated me is because the fact is he's been prodding my bear of an audience for quite some time now and just didn't expect any pushback that he wasn't going to get made fun of. So, you know, it is what it is. We can all have fun, have a couple of laughs. I hope your guys' work week is going good. Maybe we can consider this another Wage Rage Radio, because now I've started up the stage. Anybody's free to come on and start talking about stuff. We're just here to chill and chat. It's a Thursday night.
Yeah, anyways, for me, when it comes to the stuff about, like, the MRA stuff, I used to be an MRA right-wing edgelord. I used to be that.
A lot of
grew
people...
up.
A lot of people got sucked into the MRA stuff, including myself a couple of years ago. It's because we all remember the retardation of the feminists 10 years ago. We remember watching Amazing Atheist videos. You know, we watched a ton. We already had our debate, buddy. You know, you had your debate. You went to go cry about me on your channel. You had your fun, bro. You know, you're free to do whatever you want. I'm gonna make a video about you. You know, you're free to do whatever you want, man. You can make 10,000 more videos crying about me and my audience being scum, and you're totally free to do that. But we're not going to do an interview or debate with you anymore, because we've done 2 interviews with you for you to pretend it's a debate, and you can't engage with anybody in our audience, like, sincerely or honestly, and we're tired of you. Let's get some more green hats in the chat. Give them the middle finger, guys. TPD. We don't like the moinkers. Yeah. But, you know, because they want to be...
Get rid of the rich and their blue bastards.
Yeah. They want to do that? Be my guest. But, you know, we're going to continue doing our own thing. We're going to make fun of you is because you keep prodding us, and you're just surprised that we're just going to make fun of you. Yeah. No, we're going to make fun of you is because you're fucking retarded.
Yeah. It's basically like it's basically them being cry bullies, like they thinking that we would just roll over and cry ourselves to death like blue-haired liberals that they see us as. But in reality, but in reality, we have dealt with those types of idiots before, and with our internet careers, and we came ready.
And the interesting thing is that, like, and let me know if the game audio is too high. If you want me to turn on the game audio, because there were some complaints about that earlier. The thing about it is that, like, if they want to be cry-bullies, they're essentially doing the stuff the feminists did 10 years ago. You remember when feminists used to pull fire alarms to irritate people and just be obnoxious as shit, try to do this pseudo-cancel culture shit? Like, this person said something misogynistic, so therefore, you know, we need to, like, you know, bitch and complain about them and cry about them, and then people just got sick and tired of their shit and just, you know, went on their own way. It's kind of reminding me, like, not all MRAs, I don't even have a beef with all MRAs, but these particular ones are essentially acting like the same feminists that they would probably decry. The ones that pull fire alarms, the one that bitch and complain, the one that try and get people canceled, and then, so... You know, again, you know, if they want to be bitchy little retarded people, be my guest.
People.
I also
Are them people.
If you wouldn't mind me cutting in with
my 2 cents. Go ahead and go, Arya.
So, I wasn't
spreading.
too involved with the direct beef where this started, but I just want to remind you that City Cucker has some videos on Epstein, and he's actually a defender of Epstein. And actually, if you don't like Epstein, that doesn't come from a place or a desire for justice. That is because you're jealous of Epstein and higher status men. Those are not my words. You can find that in the description of the video.
Yeah, I could blast that in the video and talk about it, because a couple of people in the comment section talked that. It's like, is this the beef that you have with us, City Cucker? Are you? Yeah. I know. Are you gonna? Like, is that the reason why you're mad at my audience? Is because we hate rich pedophiles and we wear the green hat? Is because we don't like them? That we're all just an audience of jealous losers or some shit, or political nerds, like you did in several of your posts?
We don't like pedophiles. Oh no, we're like
Actually,
like
Gamma, you hate rich pedophiles because you're jealous of them, not because they made housing unaffordable and then mock you from it through the World Economic Forum. It's just because you're jealous, bro.
Oh yeah. I'm just
Also,
jealous,
can we also draw attention to the fact that with your post today, one of the biggest actors' complaints was that someone made quote-unquote, well, I hate algo speak, but grape threats and said the N-word.
Oh, dude, they hate the fact that we're politically incorrect. We don't give a shit about culture war stuff. Politically correct retardation. Yeah, there's a video of that where he's doing that. Yes, he is defending
First of
Epstein.
all,
He's
they
like,
were
it's just because like everybody who's angry
I'll
at them
do it
are just
again.
jealous.
I'll do it again.
Well, by the
do it
way,
again.
Dark Lord, I would say it, but I don't want to get Alistair's channel flagged.
I appreciate it. Just
by
use
anything.
grape and like, you know, obviously the fruit or
Okay,
whatever.
fine.
But
They
yeah,
said they use
yeah.
grape
If he's gonna
threats
defend, you know, the King Diddler himself. Okay, here's something I'm gonna give you a message, City Cucker. All right, guys, everybody in the audience, you know, yeah, we don't like rich pedophiles. Go ahead and start putting some fucking green hats in the chat. Fill that shit up. Get as many green hats in that chat as because we hate their ass. You know, not
He's
only
a
because they're
pedo-apologist as
pedophiles,
far as
but
I'm
they told us that we'd be perpetual renters in our own homeland. So yeah, let's get some fucking green hats in the chat. I want to see some class hatred against rich pedophiles in my chat, because we don't like these fucking people. We hate them. And if you want to hate us for hating them, then be my guest. We're putting the green hats on. Fuck rich pedophiles and yada yada yada, whatever reason. So yeah, fuck them.
And may I add one more thing?
What's up, man?
One of his, this isn't City Cucker directly, but this is one of his lackeys, True or Truther or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
He was antagonizing Gamma and the other mods here, and he kept wanting to challenge us to a debate, and I won't say I wasn't antagonistic, but I eventually went to his server, and then all of a sudden I was just told that I threatened rape and everything, but I'd never done any of that, and he immediately booted me, despite begging for a debate from any of the mods here.
These people have just
really
been literally
disingenuous.
crawling for attention, and you know what? If they want to have attention, we can give them attention. Yeah, we don't like rich pedophiles.
Yeah,
You
we'll
can
give
kiss
them
our
a
fucking
diaper.
ass.
We'll
We hate
give
rich
them a
pedophiles.
diaper
We're gonna
change.
steal their
Diaper
like
change.
properties.
Diaper
And we're gonna give them back to the people. It's that fucking simple. We're tired of your little culture war bullshit. We're here for the fucking property so the average person can have a house and settle down. Yes, we hate you.
Yeah, it's more of a. For me, I believe that they were the ones who shot first, so we have the right to clap back against them.
Yeah,
Because
Fun
See,
fact, I'll say it again to them. If that's how they
Go for
say
it, man.
this, I'll do it again. I'll do it again and again and again.
Yeah.
And personally, just as a personal message to True, I think I can speak on Alistair and the rest of the mod team's behalf.
Yeah, let's get some
We're
TPDs.
kind of above debate.
Yeah.
We here are above debating first graders. That's really all I have to say.
Well, the thing is that, like, you know, we came in there with full, like, readiness to have an honest-to-God discussion about, like, regular men's issues and stuff like that, and then they use that as an opportunity to insult, sneer, and then try and milk for propaganda so they could cry about us on their little collectives, right? And then continuously ping them. You know what? You got your fucking attention. Here we are. We're all here. My entire audience is here to basically tell you to fuck off and we don't like you. Congratulations.
Commies are bad or evil. I
True.
like
They're
the fucking
incels,
shit
not
out
only
of
they're
one
also
right
sex
now.
hours.
it's
They
just
can't even
that
be
a lot.
consistent with their insults of us. They either call us incels or they call us like, fucking pussy whipped and shit. It's like,
Yeah.
what
Sex
are we?
havers, pussy whipped.
Yeah, like even though they can't be consistent on insulting us, we can be consistent on insulting them. Like for me, I see
They're
them
cucks.
all as micro-dick masons with quantum states for penises.
Yeah, I'm
I
just gonna
have
call them
pretty
Betabuxxer
no
Deluxers because like he's like pathologized how many times he's been used as a pay pig for like whatever woman he's around, and now he's created an
deserves
entire
it.
ideology where like every woman's a gold digger. I'm not debating this
And he
idiot
deserves it.
antisocial.
They have a
We're making fun of him. We're not gonna
biological
bring him on the
drive.
stage again. We brought these people on our stage twice already. They insulted us. They went in and complained behind closed doors and stuff like that. Well, now they got their fucking 2 minutes of fame. They got us. Now we're gonna roast them because it's fucking funny. We hate these people.
Lister,
So, yeah.
you simply just get off on men suffering as entertainment. As they
Yeah,
say.
dude, I'm just like such a closeted whipped cuck, and like fucking like 2 months or maybe even a year, dude. You're gonna see like me in the future, dude. This is how City Crusher's right, bro. He's exposed me to being like pussy whip. Like you're gonna see my wife dancing with a black guy in the background of my live stream, where like the life drains from my eyes as I'm being cucked out like Destiny was, dude. Just wait for it, bro, dude. You're gonna get like it's gonna be clip farmed everywhere. They're gonna put funny music on that, dude. Alistair getting cucked by his wife. With the black guy, dude. City Cucker called it, dude. Totally not him with this stupid ideology of every woman's a gold digger. Totally not him.
Look at this PMC 001 coming in the chat.
I'll
Bro, you
clap,
peaked
I'll
as a
clap.
fetus, and it only went downhill from there, buddy.
Okay, you're a
I'll
far
bash-
right
I'll bash his head.
homophobe.
Click.
Yeah.
Is he calling Alistair a far right homophobe or something?
Oh, I'm a far right homophobe. Notice how, like,
Get
the only
fucked.
person they're going after call like a far right homophobe is Alistair, even
Okay,
though
Alistair,
like they don't
if I
they,
may,
they don't
If
they don't go after
sorry.
Jimmy Talks. They don't go after any of the other cost of living crisis tubers that are far more far right than me, right? The funny part is I could go to Jimmy Talks' YouTube channel and pull out him talking about Indians. You want me to do that for a second? I know that's what you guys are gonna kick
Wait,
out of that one.
PMC
I don't.
retard, he was all mad at us because I made fun of British people. I'm not even an American, by the way.
Yeah.
He was making, and he was like whinging about American.
He's gonna
character.
he's gonna cancel us of being assholes and edgy, but you know what the funny part is? I don't see him hassling Jimmy Talks or any of the right-wing content creators is because they're pussies. They just want to fucking passive-aggressively nag us like little retarded
Can I please
morons,
say something,
dude.
Alistair, to this
Go for it,
guy
man.
calling you a far right homophobe? So I'm not going to reveal any personal details. I'll preface that. But as someone who has been one of Alistair's best friends for years, if you're calling him a far right homophobe, by the way, I am a gay man. I am in a happy relationship. You're going to call him a far right homophobe. That either makes you a liar or an idiot. Go fuck
Yup.
yourself.
That's
Fuck
kind of the
off.
thing. Like, that's kind of the funny part. It's like, I think I have a hypothesis on why they got mad at me. It's because I saw them come in my comment section. It's like, because I talk about cost of living crisis issues that affect everybody universally, and I'm not like, pivoting to just pure bigotry 90% of the fucking time. It's like, they're like, this person's talking about class issues. So, like, they're just gonna, like, naturally go after me. Because they don't go after anybody who actually is, like, going to talk about these things for that side of the aisle. So... yeah, you can ignore women. You can't ignore high rent. Absolutely. That's the thing that they don't tell you. That's one of the things that, like, that I was trying to get across their head is because the fact is, it's like, we're all kind of stuck in the cost of living crisis getting poor because of this, right? So, yeah, Base Crusher, dude, I ain't going to debate you. You're not allowed on my chatter stream anymore. Is because the fact is, every
You're
time
right,
I've brought
dude.
you guys on my stream, you've been bad faith. I've had a good discussion with you, and then you ran off to your audience to cry and bitch and complain about anything I've said, even though I literally tried listening to you, explicitly. Okay, your days of like fucking going around and like doing a backstabbing like content post is coming to an end, dude. You're getting called out on this one.
Yeah.
Smears are
See
all
if I
they
can
really
get
have, isn't it?
Yeah,
Pretty
and
much.
I think I have a hypothesis. It's because the fact is I'm not like I talk about the cost of living crisis because one guy was like getting mad at me for being able to talk to like right wingers, whatever the fuck that means. I talk to everybody, especially when it comes to the cost of living crisis. And the thing is, I think because it was gaining a broad audience, like normally it's like that was what's driving them up the wall. But yeah,
Yeah.
get wrecked.
It's kind of.
Uh,
It's just
gonna
embarrassing.
put this here.
It's just embarrassing at this point.
Consequences of clown chasing.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, man, Mr. Bones. I am literally, I have tried to understand them for a while now, and all they've done is, go around complaining about me. And it's like, dude, it's like, okay, you know what? Now we're talking about you. We go for the roots. We're talking about the real issues because at the end of the day, it's like as much as we can do the culture war shit, we can probably have disagreements on there. We're all being made poor, and it's very much intentional. So we're going to talk about those politics because nobody else is talking about those politics. And, every time you do try to talk about it, how many times have they tried to distract us? Even these guys have tried to pull us away from talking about the cost of living crisis. It's impressive. It's impressive,
Every time
but
they
nonetheless.
joined any call that we're in, they always just went off about like, a woman bad because like women they like all they do is they go after men who get money, and I'm like a pathetic cuck.
Oh, and if you can no longer provide or they make more money than you, they'll just leave instantly.
Yeah, dude, that's what I've been
Not-
told.
it
Even though
is
there's like
not
plenty
the
of
woman's
examples of that
fault
not being the
they
case.
have a personality like that's more fucking stale and bland than saltine crackers.
Yep.
Yeah. And they also
Now
can't
they're making
handle
fun
it.
of you, new Hojo. Like, what's his name is making fun of you for being nasally. Like, which is it's kind of funny, is because like that's all they can do.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
Congratulations.
pathetic
What's
shit.
elementary
Literally have a
school?
low-cal inflection.
Did you
Yeah.
peak in elementary school, my friend?
Yeah,
No,
He
you
probably
think
did.
it's okay.
It was kind of funny, is because like I was
Elementary
watching
school's
somebody
very
who
No, they picked the sperm.
I was like going on
Okay,
what's his
that
name's
was
channel.
one.
when they
Sounds
were a
funny.
concept in their
One at a
mind.
time,
You
guys,
peaked
one at a
when they
time,
were
guys.
concept.
One at a time, guys. But here's kind of the thing, you know, I went on their channel, and there's one guy who's a common follower on the channel and stuff like that. I went on the other guy's channel, and I was kind of surprised to see this guy's, because it's like, you know, and it's like, maybe this is like a Peter Thiel psyop or something like that, is because, you know, I was looking at this one. Take a look at this one, guys. I was looking at this comment right here. This guy follows the channel. It's like, this guy, Alistair, would attack the blue-collar men until the white-collar jobs started to become less of a thing in the current trend. The markets, you know, you are all united against the rich. Are you Peter Thiel, dude? Are you like, are you worth Alex Karp on that one? Are you here to do the little fucking blue-collar HR Alliance psyop or some shit? Is because nobody's buying that shit anymore. Nobody likes HRs because they produce no tangible value for civilization. But I know the guys at Palantir would love to have you believe that, you know, an Ivy League degree guy like Alex Karp himself has something in common with blue-collar workers. And I think that's kind of pissed these guys off the most. Because we'd have people like welding techs, and it's kind of funny that Base Crusher is like coming in here bitching about you, Hojo, but you're actually a welder. And, you know, on top of
No,
that,
not a welder,
Aria...
I'm a machinist, actually.
Machinist. Yeah, and then
I'm
Aria,
still
you're a
taking
fucking, you know,
welding
car
classes to
mechanic. It's
double
like...
my chances of getting into
it's like-
the trades.
It's like
Wait,
most of the
hold on.
guys
What'd you say,
here...
Alistair?
And then you're a car mechanic, right? It's like, the thing is, like, we have, like, people from a mixed background here. It's like, you know, it's kind of funny that they're kind of strawmanning as, like, a white-collar movement to say, try to do that little separation. But then it's kind of funny that, you know, he doesn't even know the base that he's talking to. The people are here because of the cost of living crisis. You know, this all goes down to the fact, I'm going to explain it why these stupid little Palantir fucks are doing this. Okay, is because while they're going on their little rant and their crusade against the evil elitist Ivy League, you know, workers or, you know, class people or whatever, right? While they're doing this against white collar workers, right? You know, the reason why they're going after them is because the fact is none of these fuckers actually succeeded on reindustrializing America. They never brought manufacturing jobs back to the United States. And to cover up their sorry little asses and failures, you know, in politics, right? You know, they're covering it up by scapegoating white-collar workers. They didn't bring back blue-collar jobs. They didn't bring back manufacturing. And on top of that, they have nothing to show for it. So now they're scapegoating white-collar workers and offshoring that as a substitute, as like an easy jab, you know, for people to get mad at, as opposed to actually reindustrializing America. So congratulations, Alex Karp, you fucking dipshit, you know, because you've done nothing for the country. You've hollowed out both industries within the United States, made the country infinitely poor, and also everything more expensive. Why? So you could glorify boomers in their 9 Airbnb rentals. I hope you're happy about that. You know, if that's your little jab against white-collar workers, your little own, is because you haven't reindustrialized America. You have not brought manufacturing industry or factories back to the United States. And in fact, people have only gotten poor. But, you know, time will show you how wrong you are, you know, as we go along. Is because the funny part is people are already waking up to your bullshit. They're tired of your little psyops. They're tired of your little gaslighting about the cost of living crisis, trying to distract from the core issues that everybody feels at hand. And they're waking up to your nonsense, you know, so you can keep trying to do these little divisive tactics to not get people to pay attention to the average house price, but people will hate you that much more. Let's get some more green hats in this chat, is because we need to let Alex Karp know and Peter Thiel know that we fucking hate you. We leave the country, Peter Thiel. Leave the country. We don't want you here. We want your rent-seeking parasite ass. Yeah. Next is Alex Karp, and then we're going to deport Larry Ellison, and then we're going to deport Larry Fink. And get some more green hats in this chat, is because these people should be expelled from the United States for the rent-seeking parasites that they are, so we can have a country with an affordable standard of living again.
Speaking of trash, why the fuck did Kevin O'Leary, the fucking trash in Canada, go to America?
Oh, I don't know why. It's like, honestly, he should be, you know, strapped to a rocket and blown up in the stratosphere. Okay, like, unironically, it's like...
Every fucking Canadian
Black
wants to punch him.
Jack Plus.
For good reasons. He sucks. No one likes him. He's not a likable piece of shit.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
of course, to let y'all know, like the person that was insulting me because of my voice, they may call me a spurg or or a tard or a dribbling moron or a sped, but they never call me wrong. And that's the important thing that I can take away from these idiots.
Well,
They can insult me, but they can never call me wrong.
Yeah. Well,
Like I
no,
said, it's vibes. They don't have any fucking substance. Oh, you sound funny, therefore what?
yeah, that's kind of the thing. They ain't got nothing more. People are waking up. We can keep talking about the cost of living crisis. We just need to keep exposing the real issue, why they're doing things, why they're offshoring jobs, is because they're an embarrassing failure of a ruling class. And it's kind of funny that they're doing their half-assed anti-elitism.
We're just jealous, bro. We're just jealous. We're just jealous.
Yeah.
Dude, we're just jealous.
Yeah, the funny part is we can just literally wait these idiots out because of their own mistakes. Like, that's kind of the funny part. While they're doing these stupid little culture war psyops against us, you know, we can just wait them out is because their own stupidity is going to collapse the United States more than anything. Like, that's the funny part. Like, yeah, like...
I wish I could be R-rating children too, man.
Watch them complain about us having like Luigi hats in our chats. Like, watch them go completely complaining about that, and like, it doesn't matter because the thing is, they're gonna accuse us of all sorts of things. They could accuse us of being terrorists, but at the end of the day, we don't have to do anything. These people are destroying the country on their own right, and all we got to do is wait them out, and they'll essentially destroy everything. Look at the war in Iran. How's that going? It's going terrible. That's the funny part. So if they want to accuse us of things, we got all the time in the world. They're the ones. The ball is in their court. They're the ones who have power. We don't have power. So anything they want to throw on us is just not on us, is because the fact is we didn't make those decisions. We didn't, you know, make the decisions for the country. But it is funny watching the ruling class in these, you know, dollar store psyops completely flop.
For the country.
Yeah. Yeah, my first executive order would be arresting Larry Ellison. Yeah, and then dumping him in the Ganges River. He's getting the Ganges dumping treatment, dude. We're gonna dunk him in that, you know, shit-filled river like a cookie, bro. He's gonna go in and out, in and out, in and out, dude. We're gonna get like a military helicopter. I don't know, maybe an Apache or something like that. We'll get a little crane attached to it. We'll just tie him up to it. We'll just fucking dump him in the river. Just keep going up and down. You'll hear the crane noise too.
We don't want to do that too much, otherwise the Hindu Hindus.
Yeah.
Well, Alistair, we can't do that too many times, otherwise the Hindu Hindus are gonna worship him as a god.
Yeah, that's true, dude. He's gonna be the shit king.
Yeah. Also from another experience that I've had with these types of people is the fact that the second that you show even a little modicum of vulnerability around the MRAs, it's over. They're betraying you faster than the Senate betrayed Caesar.
It's funny that they say that they're pro-men in a sort of way, but the thing is they're just doing every trick under the book, like siphon anybody who cares about the cost of living crisis, which primarily affects young men, by the way. Like, you know, the fact is that there are no social democratic policies for young men. And I do want to put it like right on the table. Name a single social democratic policy or welfare policy that benefits young men between the ages of 18 and 35 that are childless and unmarried, and you will not find another one. Why? Is because we're expected to be the backbone of civilization. We're the ones that are expected to do the dirty work. We're the ones expected to be digging the ditches, okay? And so the funny part is that, like, you would figure that if this was the demographic that they claim to care and represent, you know, they want to talk about, that they'd be interested in talking about the cost of living crisis. But then they don't. They don't do any of that stuff. They don't do the thing where, like, you know, the average man is being expected these things of them, and, you know, to be disposable, and then at the same time, quite literally, you know, mocked and gassed about an invisible privilege that they don't have. I've talked about this on my older videos. You know, I call it the privilege gaslight. You know, you're expected to be the backbone of civilization, to be the workhorse, the ditch digger, while at the same time, you're gaslit about an invisible privilege that you don't even have anymore. Boomers might have that, and that's why they're offshoring your jobs to India, or just, you know, replacing you with foreign labor, and then also only using, like, you know, those roles for young women, right? You know, that's kind of thing. That's no shot to young women, by the way, right? Because the fact is they have their own issues as well. Right? But that's kind of the thing.
We're in the fucking shit. Let's die together, man.
Yeah. So, you know, that's the thing. Young women have their own issues. We're all kind of going through the cost of living crisis together. But it is amazing that these people call themselves, like, men's rights activists. They love hating women more than they love caring about men. That's fucking accurate, Linksy, dude. They care more about hating women than caring about men. That's the crazy thing. Because, like, I figured, like, after the last stream, it's like, you know, when he kept pushing it, it's the feminists that are behind everything. It's like, okay, it can agree feminists are retarded from time to time, but it's not just purely them. You know, couldn't even do that. Not at all. You know, just got to go directly to blaming, like, women. Not the pedophilic elite that rule our country, but it's got to be women.
Feminist bad, but pedophile elite's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all
So
the
maybe they
same-
can go
it's
ball
all the
bust
same
Jimmy Talks or
bullshit.
some shit like that. I bet you Jimmy Talks' audience would like fucking have a field day with this retarded ass. Like, how much you want to bet if you tried this shit with Jimmy Talks would like fucking roast his ass to death.
Yeah. It could be eaten alive.
Yeah, like Jimmy
I'm sure
Talks'
that, you
audience
know, I'm,
wouldn't
like,
give a shit.
awful. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like evil communist, but like also like a Hitlerian or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So one person commented, "We made a mistake when women entered the workforce en masse, not due to their existence, but because we didn't take the opportunity to split up the work better." I agree with that. Like, we could have integrated a little bit better on that one. And so, like, the thing is the whole supply and demand thing about women flooding the workplace, right? You know, this could have been done a little bit better by just saying, like, okay, maybe they did use it for wage suppression, but we should have more unionization in this country.
Yeah.
So, you know, we should have stronger
1000%.
unions. So.
Yep.
And I think that's the reason why, like, these MRAs, despite the fact that we're a cost of living crisis channel, have tried to deflect so much, is because the fact is we're pro-worker here. And that's kind of the thing. We talk about working class issues, and he doesn't ever want to talk about that. He wants to spam a gazillion things that we've already talked about a gazillion times. You know, female hypergamy, you know, dating and dynamics or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like if this guy was part of a union and was asked to stand on the strike line with
Yep,
a woman,
Lynxia, that
he
is
would
accurate.
do it.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's like, you know, the funny part is, like, you know, as I got older, I began to realize, like, one of the things that kind of pulled me out of those circles is, you know, kind of recognizing that it's not really women driving these things. Like, Admiral Fitzgerald getting, like, don't get me wrong, there are women that are going to try and reinforce gender roles, okay? Some guys, like, that's one thing the MRAs will never shut the fuck up about, saying women reinforce gender roles. To some case, that is true, but a lot of the times, not necessarily. Unironically, it's like, you know, it's like Lynxia just said there. The debate on the white feather exemplar. They cared so much about women hurting men's pride that they ignored it. It was a literal bourgeois psyop made by a male wasp. Like, yeah, true. That's kind of the thing. That's what I was trying to get at. But how dare I blame a man for something that he did wrong? But then again, this guy is just accusing you of being jealous of Epstein because he's a rich person or some nonsense, right? So he's going to defend all men regardless of what evil shit that they've done, right? So that's kind of ironic.
Yeah, Epstein should have gotten like a fair trial, guys. I also think that like Epstein should have had the right to rape kids.
City Crusher fans, I'm telling you, you need to know, if you don't already, that he is a Epstein pedophile apologist.
Yeah. And Epstein apologists are just as bad as Epstein himself, mind you.
Yep.
I was just popping in to tell you guys that the MRI guys, they seem to constantly claim they love men's rights. They love them, but they are the first ones to chant more war. Isn't it interesting that sending off the men that they say they care about to constantly die of conflicts? I just always find that interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I have tried to, I don't know. I'm pretty much made my rant. I pretty much like turbo destroyed Betabuxxer, Deluxe, or City Cucker. But like, that's kind of the thing. It's like, you know, you can only say so much before you're just beating a dead horse, right? So I guess we can get back to the regulars. Because like, if you hadn't noticed, I was actually planning on releasing a video talking about like how immigration is used to undercut domestic labor, right? But these like City Cucker retards just keep coming along. Let's get back on topic. This is the last time I'm going to talk about City Cucker, and he's free to make whatever little smear piece, bitching and complaining about me as he'd like. But that's pretty much done. You know, he wants to like make little smear pieces about how my audiences are assholes and scum. You know, be my guest. You're free to do that. You can bitch about it. Yeah, we are. We own that shit. We'll put green hats in the chat is because we hate rich pedophiles. We're politically incorrect and we don't give a fuck what you think, dude. So, my rant's over. That's enough talking about City Cucker. Let's get back to talking about the cost of living crisis. We can talk about it. So apparently, you know, Chinese vessels have actually been importing things past the blockade that the United States has been propping up in the Strait of Hormuz, which doesn't surprise me, is because the fact is that if the United States can't handle Iran, what chance does it have against China? And it's just, you can tell it, right? You know, they've overinvested so much onto the infrastructure of whatever it's called, of propaganda, that they can't actually make a functional state anymore. It's actually fucking embarrassing. It's like, you know, we're at that stage where it's like all propaganda, no substance. You know, probably what's his name is propaganda
But Alistair,
too. That's
we're
beside
going
the
to
point.
blockade their blockade.
Yeah, I never understood that.
worked.
When they talked about
And
doing that
also-
blockade on like Iran's blockade, it's like, so two wrongs make a right somehow? Like that's the logic I got. It's like on top of that, like most of Iran's stuff goes by rail, dude. It's like, so like how is that going to work out exactly?
Yeah.
Oh, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bomb their rails. Oh fuck! I just gave them a good idea. Fuck my life.
What's up, Moku? Hope you're doing well. I see you on the stage. you know.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, man.
Hey.
What's your take? What's your take? How's it going?
It's good. Just got back from the gym, got some sparkling water, but no, who was
Okay.
the because I listened to it while I was rearranging my place the other night. The British guy, the MRA activist that you
His name was
recently, I guess
I can't tell them apart. One of them was Based Crusher. One of them was like City Crusher and stuff like that. They're like a pro male collectivism
Oh.
group.
I think it was
Yeah.
the PMC guy, the guy
Okay.
who was like whinging about like Americans and whatnot.
Mhm.
Like,
Right.
oh, because I made fun of his accents. I'm not even fucking American, by the way. That's how much of a
Yeah.
fragile fucking ego these.
Oh, this is a
fucking
nice little
have.
evening. I'm gonna go light up a cigar and go for a walk while I do this. But
Yeah.
one thing
It's
that
pretty
really
chill.
stuck out to me, and I'm a big proponent of always give the devil his due. Like just listen to the guy's points, you know, and
Yeah.
like, you know. But one thing he did miss is he brought this point about like the obsession with status, right? And
Yeah.
he's talking about like, oh, at jobs, it's more preferential to get hired if you're married, especially if you're married with kids.
Yeah.
And he brought up how it's
Yeah.
it's a status. They were like, oh, this guy's probably good to work with. You know, it's like that is part of it, and that's really more so the
Yeah.
facade, the optics of it. The main
Yeah.
reason companies prefer to hire married men, especially married men with kids, is they're less likely to rock the boat or
Yeah.
quit abruptly or like go against orders from
Yeah.
management because they don't want to risk losing their job. They're easier to control. That's
Yep.
the
Mhm.
legit reason.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
but if
also-
I mentioned that to them, they're not.
Couldn't
gonna...
you say the same about married women with husband and kids?
The thing is that like with married women, because like the thing is, there's not a social or a cultural expectation on women to work. Like it's still not existent today. Like most people, like if you were a
Yeah.
stay-at-home wife, that's gonna be okay. So if a woman quits because like because she's gonna have kids or like have a family and stuff like that, that's a socially acceptable thing. So, but with like men, you're kind of expected to work. You're expected to be provider and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So that's kind of thing. It's like it's a cultural expectation. Of what you have to do. So there's like a less likely probability is because it'll just turbo tank your
Well,
career
that's-
culture. Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. I was saying, like, what if you're already a woman who already has kids and a husband and you're working?
Mhm.
I wasn't talking about being pregnant at the presently,
Yeah.
maternal leave and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Also,
I mean, I think corporations and all that bullshit are manipulative, asshole, gaslighting
absolutely.
motherfuckers in general anyway.
exactly, and it's always been this way ever since we had corporations.
Yeah. That's kind of the thing.
Like, show me a good corporation, I'll show you a unicorn that shits diamonds.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of thing.
But,
Like it's like what I was trying to get the like fucking city cucker is that like it's a cultural expectation. It's not a biological one. And he's gonna go on his little video. He's gonna make 10 more videos about me crying about how it's
Yeah.
biological. He's gonna send me 10 more videos about
Mhm.
female hypergamy, and then he's gonna start
Mhm.
talking about like RK selection theory or like reproduction mechanics or some shit. The shit we've all fucking heard like at this
Yo,
point.
Oscar, you know that image of like that dude who's milking that cow, and that cow's like skinny as fuck. He's like, "Good morning, sunshine."
Yeah.
He's gonna try.
Yeah.
He's
City
gonna milk
Cucker.
us. He's gonna
Yup.
milk us for views. When in reality, he can barely crack 60 views a video.
And that's kind of the thing. He's got his own little core audience that agrees with him. And the funny part is like there ain't nothing wrong with that. You want to have your core little audience or whatever, and you can bitch about me all you want. But the thing is that like you do realize like there's another group of people that you've just entirely pissed off, even though we were literally willing to listen to your ideas. So like what's the point in that? It's like you literally just wasted your time just insulting a bunch of people who now just don't care about your ideas anymore, is because you just insulted them like a ton. So it's like idiots.
Another thing on my mind, I know, Alistair, you brought up a lot the various technocrats in this country that have hollowed out certain industries.
Yeah.
And how they've been given the cold shoulder from China and many other places.
Yeah.
It was making me think like, it's funny how like a lot of things parallel each other, both at like the mass multi-million-dollar scale as well as the individual scale.
Mhm.
And one thing I was thinking about was this concept if everyone wants like train sports or anything sort of like that. It's like I'm sure a good bit of you have heard the concept fundamentals win fights. And
Yeah.
the fact is with like this AI data center shit is like, it doesn't matter if you learn some like bullshit like magic, like Shaolin, Kung Fu, spinning kick that like, you know, fucking cracks some guys. If your cardio sucks, if you can't take a punch, you can't throw a punch, you're gonna get your ass beat. And that's the issue I see with a lot of this like
Eric-
technocrat elitist shit
Yeah.
is like, there is
Eric-
no like magic
Yeah.
answer put you ahead of the competition. You gotta invest in your fundamentals,
Yeah.
to your
Eric
workforce, your infrastructure,
Christensen
everything.
pointed out, it's like, I think you were both correct, but Crusher's an asshole. He's shit on his fellow men and it pisses me off. Like, me too, man. Me too. We were willing to listen to him. City and them are weirdos, but only a jester can satirize the rulers. Only the childish can point out the inner has them look close. So yeah, he's an eccentric gadfly, but normals are silent. Yeah, that's true. That's why I just kind of gave up on him. It's like, you know, I figured after the second discussion, like, they would have been more, yeah, they're just like a little weirdo cult. Like, there are probably much better MRAs to have discussions with out there that aren't just going to consistently like bitch and complain about women and do like biological gold
or
diggery.
insult the audience of someone else because a few members decide to tell them to piss off or tell them that they're wrong.
Yeah. But congratulations,
I'll
City
do it
Cucker.
again.
You pissed everybody
I was
else
in the
off.
VC.
Like
Do
you.
it again.
Yeah.
We're all scum. What do we know?
I was
Yeah,
I was
like-
in the VC when I think Base Crusher popped in and like crashed out, and Gamma just shot on him. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, and of course I was there for the after, and for me I was not in EPC, so to say, but my DMs were basically an after party for some of the members, so I decided to basically just basically just use my insults on them and also beat them upside the head with how hypocritical they are, because the PMC is an MRA move, and MRAs, they want women to be slaves. And I know this sounds
No, I
like
think
I'm a
that-
blue-haired Libby, but their movement is
MRAs
inherently that.
MRAs depends on which one, right? The red pillar types, probably. The black pillar ones are just busy, like, you know, watching Wheat Waffles. Oh, Wheat Waffles is gone nowadays because he got a girlfriend. But, like, that's kind of thing. It's like, you know, like, the MRAs were ones that just wanted to, like, quote-unquote, you know, focus more on, like, gender equality between men and women, but then they just never really did it, and they just kind of want to, you know, go down their own little retarded route. So this particular group I've heard is, like, uniquely retarded and kind of schizo. So it doesn't surprise me that they've been as retarded as they are. But yeah.
Yeah, it's they're hypocrites.
They want
I wonder
second
if there's, like, a
mommies,
temple that we
domestic
can read or
slaves.
something.
Women owe them sex. I had one of
Yeah.
them tell me that one of their human rights as a man is to have a woman marry them and bear children with them. Shut up.
I don't deserve
No wonder
it.
you
Yeah.
can't get pussy.
That thing you mentioned about him, like, low-key, like, supporting Epstein or whatever, it made me think it was like, and also the other comment that they hate women more than they love men. Yeah, hatred's a very fucking powerful feeling, and there's a lot of people where it's like they're so driven by hatred, like, let's say they hate one dude, but
Yeah.
they can't get to him. They're like, oh, I'll go murder the guy's family just to get back at him or whatever because I hate him so much. I feel like that's
There's
almost
like a
where that,
little-
like, weird Epstein endorsement is coming from. It's like, I hate women so much.
Then I'm willing to
endorse
side with
some
the
guy on
pedophile.
the-
Yeah.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
the basis that he
So,
abused and
Give
hurt
me
women.
someone to get this mic ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of skeletons over here. I wonder if there's like a cave. But yeah,
Also,
no, that's the thing. It's like, as soon as he started doing that, it's like, I'm not gonna do this shit. It's like, oh, look, a bear. I'm guys gonna... Luckily, I'm well more armored for this.
So anyways, for me, this is how I kind of see like the whole thing with like Gamma and all, like the Gamma and City Crushers idiots. Gamma had every right to tell them. Gamma had every right to joke about them since those jokes are free speech, even though that phrase is more tired than
Well,
Droopy Dog
I
on
figured
Downers.
MRAs would have been more like pro like free speech, but you know, it is what it is. You know,
Yeah.
hate shall be reserved for the Epsteinites and the rest of the bourgeoisie. Yeah, that's kind of the case. Agreed. Oh, I think of the fucking Epstein tards. It's like, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, that's kind of the funny part is it surprised me when Nick Fuentes started wearing the Epstein jacket to kind of like be like, yeah, I support Epstein. Like, okay, you're proud of that or some
Yeah.
shit?
Yeah, like we already knew Spick Fuentes.
Was it, like,
wait.
I thought that was meant to be
Yep.
ironic.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Irony is a very funny thing nowadays. it's gotten to a point where the entire internet has been polluted with so much irony that being earnest is basically a death sentence, socially speaking.
Yeah. What's on here? Is there anything in this stuff?
Wait.
I just wonder what those little sacks are.
Well, ironic humor is so popular now that the assumption is when someone does something like that is that it's a joke.
Yeah.
The scary caveat to that is that you occasionally have those guys that they're not joking when they talk about how they, like, I don't know, rape people in their free time.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. See if there's anything down here in this cave.
That was that serial online sex offender, Matthew Falder. Yeah, well, he was like grooming and like abusing girls online. He would like joke to his like flatmates and coworkers about doing it, and they just kind of shrugged it off as a joke.
Yeah, because boys will be boys or some other bullshit.
Yeah, boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys.
True.
Yeah, also, Ghost Red, you can speak.
Oh, Ghost Red's on stage. What's up, man? How you doing, dude?
Hey guys, doing good.
Dude, it's been a fun thing dealing with this stupid ass MRA. It's fucking hilarious. It's like I never expected like this guy would be like making like several videos bitching and complaining about me. Like that's kind of the funny part is that like, you know, out of all the people, like, you probably know who Jimmy Talks is. Like as content creators, we're in like a similar sphere as like those people as well. There's a couple other people, they're more far right than us and stuff like that, right? But it's like, you know, if he's gonna complain about stuff, it's like, why doesn't he just go to Jimmy Talks? I mean, probably because Jimmy Talks probably make fun of him too or some shit.
Yeah, this City Crusher guy is like the type of person that can't make friends, so he has to play this fine line between like choosing who he makes an enemy, because he's a really easy target. Like the second you went live with the first conversation with him, I was like, this guy is he's like
he's a quack.
You know, I'm not. Yeah, nothing against incels, you know what I mean? Obviously, not everyone can have the life.
Oh, you're way more generous than I.
But this guy is like the definition of just creepy. Like, just why would you want to be around a guy who has wasted his entire life complaining about the other gender, hasn't gained the monetary status that he cries about all day? Like, he's falling short in every definition of a man. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of the funny part is because, like, you know, unironically, is that's all he ever fucking talks about, but he doesn't actually work on any of that stuff. He's busy taking shots at everybody else, and it's like, okay, man, you know, do whatever you want. You're free to talk about whoever you fucking want, dude. And, like, you know.
I'm pretty sure
it's
in this case is because of crayons. Like, I think that's his favorite color he eats.
And,
but, oh,
the
well,
other thing going
it's
back
been fun.
to
I gotta get back to making videos. Like, I remember you posted out, like, a announcement Ghost Thread about how you're, like, sometimes you're, like, you take time on, like, making videos and stuff like that. It's like, dude, I get it. Sometimes it's like, I just don't feel like uploading. It's like, because, like, you gotta spend some time in Caden Live, you gotta make the thumbnail and title and stuff like that. It takes a little bit of creativity, and sometimes you're just like, well, shit, you know, I just don't feel like it.
Yeah, and you want to get, like, a good product.
Let me do a video on, like, City Cucker's thing defending Epstein.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, if, like, we wanted to, like, clown on this guy, we could just, like, all make videos on him and stuff like that, but, like, it feels like a low-hanging fruit. It's like, you know.
Yeah. The issue with the Epstein thing, like, the teasing him about Epstein, I heard you guys talk about a little bit with the Fuentes thing. The right wing is, like, more and more... There's, like, the right wing that hates Israel that's super anti-Epstein, then there's, like, the right wing that supports Fuentes. And what I'm seeing more is, like, nah, Epstein was actually so based. If you were rich and
they're trying to rewrite the narrative,
would you not do that too? Yeah, like, you can't redeem a pedophile.
Yeah.
I don't care what the circumstances are. Like, so I don't know.
It's like,
you kind of
it's like that cope. It's a psyop.
His line around him.
Yeah, it's a psyop, in my opinion. Like, if you're glazing Epstein, you're part of that class of people that probably is in Epstein's circle, being like, well, you're just jealous of it, you know? It's like, whatever, dude.
And it's the lamest. It's like, bro, I know it was fucked up what he did, but if you were a billionaire, would you not do the same? Like, no, I would not do the same.
No, I wouldn't.
Thing. Like,
I would go full John Wick on those other people. I would go John Wick on them, like 100%.
Terrible, bro. These people.
But it's amazing, like, the amount of projection, because I've seen, like, that comment every once in a while. It's like, you know, all I can imagine is they're, like, self-reporting. It'd be like, well, what they mean to say is they would do that if they were in Epstein's shoes. They would diddle children if they had unlimited money and power. And it's like, well, speak for yourself, dude. Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
But again, you gotta also remember like the MRA crowd. Not all of them. I always try to be fair to the ones that like are just fighting their fight. But the city crusher guy, you got to remember that they're also the same group that makes the fertility arguments. Like they're like, well, women are actually most fertile at 16. It's like, why the fuck does that matter? Like, that's
that shit was always so weird, man.
Yeah, they always bring up the weirdest stats. They talk about child marriage in other countries. It's just like, why does that matter? We're a Western society.
See,
we have rules. Let's stick to them. Like, why are you trying
that's
to
how I think they.
They're just grasping for power.
That's how I think they got, like, you know, closeted pedophiles in on this one, is because here's kind of the interesting thing, right? I do want to kind of get an interesting talking point in, right? Because the red pill dynamic, like the dynamic is this, okay? You know, when it comes to sexual marketplace dynamics, according to their logic, men bring resources to the table. Women bring like youth and fertility, okay? And so like that's kind of the thing. When they say that, it's like it just, you know, immediately the pedophiles swarmed and they were like, young, they must mean like 12 or some shit, bro.
May I join this dog pile?
Yeah, man, go for it. Welcome to the chat.
Thank you. I usually listen to you while I'm in my wagey cagey and not along. But I had to come to this because I'm pretty sure City Cucker's gonna hear this. You know those chicks who are like, oh, I don't want this feminism this and I don't want this feminism that. Well, if this dude's fighting for male rights, as a male, it's like, oh, please, I don't want your idea of male rights, man.
Yeah.
City Cucker, do not fight on my behalf. Whatever sort of tilting that windmill, and if he's watching that, if he's either gonna watch this live or watch the replay of it, like, man, you're fighting your own battle, and this man is not standing beside you. I only fight the rich. You go fight on yourself.
He wants to fight for the rights to rape kids. That's what it is.
Yeah, that guy, I swear to fucking God. But yeah, he's like, I'm going to speak for all men. It's kind of funny is because like one of the first shots he started taking shots at me, and Ty kind of pointed this out. It's like, you know, like substantively, you know, he's said, Alistair, you're the one who's actually helping out ordinary men more than he is, because you're talking about issues that affect ordinary men as we speak, such as the cost of living crisis and the future that's being kind of dwindled from them, right? And that's kind of thing. Like, what does City Cucker care about men substantively? Okay, like, let's get down to it. Is because he brought up, like, you know, one teacher study. You know, sure, fine, whatever, right? But, like, substantively, these are, like, one, you know, voter policy kind of talking points. It's like, okay, sure. It's like, you know, yeah, we can talk about it, but it's not like, you know, an end-of-the-world thing like the cost of living crisis, you know, where we're all basically being made poor in our own country.
I mean, like, this guy is not... He's not career focused, he's not life focused, he's just hate focused. Because at some point as a man, like, it doesn't matter how rigged the world is, even as us, we complain, but we also do the job. We also progress. We try to
find
solutions. We care about something that matters, man. We care about stuff that has a bottom line. We talk about stuff that can be calculated on a calendar. I looked at after I heard Alistair talking about the Epstein video, it's like, oh, I have to see this for myself. So I watched like half of it before. It's like, oh, I'm done with Cucker for now. That's why it's like, oh, I have to go to my car and join this chat because I want him to hear my voice calling him a loser.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's like this guy had every opportunity to work with us, and he's just consistently started fights with us, insulted our audience, and then basically just mocked everybody, and then strawmanned us.
And I want children.
The thing about his arguments is, if he was able to find a woman that was able to tolerate him and like give him a child and let him live like a fulfilled life, because that's like the saddest part of under it all. There's like a Myron Gaines who is like, you know what I mean, financially rich, has his own stance, and is like far out on his side. With City Cucker, it's literally just complaining about what he couldn't do. It's just that's kind of like the most sad thing is you can't change.
I am a janitor. Nobody at the bottom of the damn totem pole, and I have a girlfriend. I'm doing better than City Cucker, and I clean toilets.
Yeah, and guess what?
See, that's kind of thing. I try to tell City Cucker this.
Fucking Discord chat that's basically invoking mandated government girlfriends.
Yeah, I told City Cucker this. It's like, dude, the whole thing about like women caring only about your economics. He's like, well, Alistair, as soon as you stop making money, your wife is gonna leave you. I'm like, dude, she literally got with me because she liked me for other reasons. She thinks I'm actually fucking attractive, City Cucker. That's why I keep saying this is a self-report, okay? Like, holy fucking shit. How many times do I have to tell you that people can get together for other reasons other than fucking being a goddamn Betabuxxer, but he just didn't get the fucking message. Ooh, a temple.
The thing about the money, the whole thing is like, oh, your wife will leave you when you stop making money. There's various aspects of that, and like, yeah, some chicks straight up will, but like, you have to look at why did the guy stop making money. If the guy's a retard and gambled his money away, she probably left him not just because the money, because the guy is
if you're a deadbeat, I can understand that. If you try to be a productive member of society, then they're not going to necessarily call you for that. Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely gold diggers out there. But, like, no, like, there's a lot of women that are not like that. And it's like, you know, that's kind of thing. Because, like, my wife was, like, talking to me about that. It's like, you know, with the whole gold digger stuff. And, like, she is not anywhere near that. And it's like, it's amazing that they want to go down that route. It's like, I know you think your little, you know, retarded, like, dollar store Evo psych, you know, theories might work or something like that. And you're kind of looking for a destiny moment. But, you know, you're going to be waiting a long fucking time, you know.
Also,
the funny part is that, like...
Crusher reminds me of, like, a wife beater. I think he's a wife beater. Or was a wife beater.
You never know.
Possibly.
You never know with people like that.
The fact is,
He's overcompensating for something, man. I have not. I don't know how that dude makes video after video of just complaining about chicks. My God, man.
Again, the thing that like, maybe you were getting into with I think base crusher. It's like about like what women find attractive, and this is why I don't like the whole false just reducing it down to one thing. It's like. The answer always is, it's the legal answer of it depends, you know?
Even August literally...
It just depends.
Yeah, even August in the chat. I have a girlfriend, I don't even have a job because this fuck-ass job market is constantly rejecting me. I am willing to actually work, the potential is there. That's the thing, it's like, the funny part is if you're not just a complete dreg on society, you're probably gonna have no problem. If you're, like, that's kind of the funny part. Unless if you're, like, significantly ugly, or you have a deformation or whatever, right? Sure, it might be harder, but it's not impossible. You can more than likely get a part. Yeah, like, I'm not gonna be, like, a complete blue pillar here and basically, like, well, looks don't matter, and, you know, true love is just built on confidence or some nonsense, right? Looks certainly do matter to some degree, okay? It's not a deal breaker for everything, but, like, the thing is, it's not just as universal and standard to just be status. Like, that is so dumb.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed about City Cucker, if I may, I don't mean to interrupt.
Go for it.
Okay, one thing about City Cucker, and I've been around this chat for a hot minute now. One thing we've talking about in this chat, and I being a tanky, is that the significance of CIA and corporate psychological operations on the whole lot of us for one to hate the other, and for us to keep swatting left and right instead of swatting at what's above us. And well, evidently, Cucker, for all his men's rights shit, doesn't understand what goddamn Project Mockingbird or MK Ultra. For a dude who supposedly hates feminists with all of his black heart, he doesn't seem to understand its influences or where it's come from and who it's paid to do what. He may not like Marxists, but gosh, this damn Marxist knows more about the world than he does.
Yep, that's kind of thing.
Can I jump on that actually?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've watched you for a while, Alistair, and I'm literally a right-wing monarchist, right? So
let's go monarchy. I was into that for a while.
Welcome.
So like, I'm pretty far right in that aspect, but at the same time, it's like the reason that I'm against the current status quo is because we have a corporate elite that is doing nothing to actually provide.
That's why I was a monarchist, because monarchy is better than this corporate BS.
See, I know why people go monarchist, because there's a couple of monarchists in my chat too, and it's like, I get the logic, is because I think there's another guy in my chat too. He's like, it basically the idea is that like with a monarch, you can have a single point of responsibility rather than a democratic politician that gets changed by tissue paper. Like, I get it, man. I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, the thing is with a lot of these, like, you know, culture war bullshit talking points and issues, is it's like 90% of the time, all it effectually does is just like get people to stop actually worrying about the fact that, oh, we have mega corporations and bought out politicians who are just
Amen.
make our life worse.
And that's why they don't want people talking about that.
And also,
Yeah.
the corporatists have no concept of noblesse oblige.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the
exactly.
worst part. That's what I hate the most about this ruling class is because they have no sense of noblesse oblige to like pay it forward and maintain civilization. It's like it's peak fuck you got mine mentality. It's like, oh, I've already like got all my money and ran off to a private island to little children. Fuck you got mine.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed with a lot of guys that like gravitate towards monarchies and a lot of these other sort of like authoritarian type governments and systems is it feels like the principle of Occam's razor, where the situation is so fucked, where it's like if the trade-off is I have to like reestablish nobility or a monarchy or whatever,
Yeah.
or a fucking a Führer,
Yep.
if you're in that crowd, if they're
Yeah.
the whole thing like, hey, if this stabilizes the economy and cuts down on crime, then fuck it, yeah, I'll go swear allegiance to the king. I don't give a shit at this point.
Yeah.
You know what's weird?
that-
Because I have
What's up?
met also a lot of monarchists. The issue that I see a lot of the time is that they'll go for that ideology, but they'll also stand by like economics don't mean that much. It's about our cultural well-being. And I'm always, I don't know, maybe I'm too economic minded, but I'm like economy and then culture, because if you don't have a good economy, then it's really hard to really
See,
make a good
that's
culture,
where-
'cause everyone's gonna
that's
be,
the funny
the
part.
material
I actually agree with you. It's
conditions are
because
gonna
like
be really reflective.
like that's kind of the funny part. It's like, if you haven't realized, it's like, with the degradation of like, the economy and the economic situation, we are effectively turning into a third world country. There is no culture. And that's kind of the thing. To practice actual high culture, you do need to have free time. And that's something that capitalism just doesn't want to have. Is because the fact is if people have
Amen.
free time, then they also think of other things. And that's the terrifying thing about them. They don't like people having free time to do their own thing because then they have different ideas and they can't control people with different ideas. That's why they're trying to bring us back to the industrial age, like work ethic of 996. Because like they're deathly afraid of people,
Factory
going against them.
towns,
Yep.
company
You guys
culture.
read Militarism Basis of Culture?
Say again?
Yeah, why do you think I love monarchism? It's because I grew up hella Catholic, so I understood the importance of having time to sit around and read old books.
That's a
Yeah,
deep
you
pit.
need
I'm not gonna get
economic
fucking killed if I
surplus in
jump down
order
there.
to-
What?
And that's
I
how
mean,
that's
it's
a better way
why
to do
the
it.
middle class, in my opinion, is getting squeezed. Because like, in terms of forming a counter elite, you need people who have they're generating enough surplus of wealth that they can actually get involved in politics and educate
Yep.
themselves.
That's
need power to
that's
get
the
more
gateway to
power.
politics in general, is because you do need to finance it to some degree, because that surplus free time is needed to have like a dedicated. Okay, so this is not that far from my my base. Okay, yeah, that's kind. You need to have that free time and that surplus dedicated to the counter elite, so they can actually operate on the behalf of the populace. That's the funny part, and they try to make that as difficult as possible. They try to do like laws against that. They try to make it difficult to do campaign finance, where you can only go through like these heavily bureaucratic like campaign laws or whatever, right? So it's like they make that as deliberately as difficult as possible to frustrate people out of politics, except for like the billionaire class. Corporations are more willing to negotiate with boomers. That's the thing, and I think that's going to be a mistake, because the fact is, eventually, as younger generations start to wake up and they start organizing into class politics, they're going to regret that. Because the thing is that, like, see, this is kind of the funny part. The reason why we're getting so much attention, the reason why we're getting so much shit, why there's now spear campaigns against our community, in a sort of sense, is because we're the ones that are spearheading talking about class politics as boldly and brashly. They tried to cancel us. They can't cancel us because we're loud, we're brash, we know what we want. They know why we wear the Luigi hat. And so there's no amount of shame or social humiliation they can do to us, because they know why we're here. And they know that we're like a hungry dog. We know what we want. We're here for the bone. You can try and lead us to a bunch of different guerrillian directions, but we're here because of class issues. The distractions ain't gonna work. And if you think they are, you're going to have to work a little bit harder. Because those psyops don't work like they used to. Nobody's enfranchised enough to give a shit about your culture war bullshit.
Oh, and two other things. Going back to what I said before again about how fundamentals win fights. That's the thing I totally got, where like you were talking to, I think, base pressure, where it's like your main point of focus is economic and class issues. His was more like men's rights and feminism. And I get his plight, but also it's like, at its core, everything revolves around money and the economy. What's the point of defeating feminism if we're all broke as shit and we're all perpetual renters? So that, I'd see how that, like, it takes priority. The other thing was like, going back to the Admiral Fitzgerald White Feather campaign.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there was absolutely women involved in that probably took very sadistic enjoyment, I suppose, in participating in the campaign. But it's like you brought up about Admiral Fitzgerald. It's like you're getting mad at the symptom and not the cause. You have to look at the root cause of the issue. Still treat the symptom, but again, you have to look at what the whole cause of the thing was.
Yeah,
and it wasn't women; it was men in power weaponizing women against young men.
Yeah, to attack their ego. Like there's, I think one person, Lynxia, pointed that out in the chat, and it's like, yeah, it's exactly that. They just basically weaponizes young men's ego against them, and and it was not necessarily just women doing that exclusively, but like again, get the MRA's technology. Like, no, you have to blame women all the time for everything, and it's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Bye. I'll give blame where blame's due.
I don't have a good job.
Also, is my game still making noise? I mean, I had its sound turned off already, but...
Well, like, here's kind of the thing. It's like, we can talk and criticize. Like, I'm not against it. It's kind of funny because they might call me a cucker or a simp on this one. It's like, I'm not beyond, like, criticizing women. Like, unironically, if you speak to any of my guys, it's like, I can criticize women. I have no problem doing that. Calling people retarded. It's like, I'm kind of that's what I mean by gender egalitarian. I don't hold my words for either side of the aisle, and it drives people up the fucking walls. Yeah. So, miss me with that shit.
I just think it's
Let's go for another expedition at that abandoned camp. Go on, man.
There definitely is like a lot going against men. And I understand where he's coming from and his like sentiment is, but at the same time, the things that are plaguing men are at the hands of the corporate elite. I mean, gambling, pornography, all these things are targeted to an audience that has been sold out by a lot of people. And I don't think it's feminists definitely had a part to play in that, but I would definitely look at the elites who are funding, who are openly participating in stake, prize picks, putting these ads everywhere. All the states legalizing gambling on such a ridiculous degree in such a short span of time. Like, what I mean?
Here's another thing. It's like the whole economic warfare against the family and stuff like that. Like, here's another thing. It's like, it's like when people say, like, feminism destroyed the nuclear family. No, the economy did. Economic warfare did. The capitalist class did. Is because the fact is, it used to be where if you were a dual income household, like me and my wife, okay, you would just be guaranteed to be rich. You were going to be well off. You traded your free time through work to get additional wages, and you could have a nicer house, you could have a nicer car, whatever. Right? That was the exception, okay? That was not the norm. Now it is the norm where both the man and the woman have to work, and that just barely gets you the average house. God knows, is because I am that, okay? I don't own a house by a whole lot of, margin. It's actually a fairly thin margin that me and my wife have a home, and that's because we both work. Now, if I had worked by myself and I was supporting my wife, there'd be no way to actually afford a house, settle down, and have a family. And that's what I mean. That's the economy that destroyed the traditional family. That wasn't women. That wasn't feminism. That's a code. It wasn't cultural warfare. It was economic warfare, if you want to get down to it.
I'm sure that by the time City Cucker, if he's listening now or listening later, I'm sure you pretty much lost him. He doesn't strike me as somebody who can comprehend the minutia of economics.
Yep, he's just too busy blaming women for everything.
Thanks for having me on, Alistair. Time to get back in my cage. I just wanted to make sure that City Cucker knows that I think that he's a bitch.
It's good having you, man. Feel free to stop by anytime you want, man. You take it easy. What a cool guy. But yeah,
nothing against. Well, okay, again, not talking. I'm not trying to talk broadly about the right, but you mentioned it a little bit earlier with like Jimmy Talks. Like, why doesn't he go after those people? And it's because like he kind of has the same like. I'm not gonna say Jimmy Talks is on the same lane as him. He's definitely different. Yeah. But it's all hate politics at the end of the day, and it's all misdirected hate politics. Like, they can identify the Israel problem, they can identify the corporate lobby, they can identify a million problems, but they'll never actually point the finger at the right person. They'll just,
that's kind of thing.
Yeah.
When I made my video on Nick Fuentes like a little while ago, I practically made a bet saying like, okay, you can do all these things, you can do the mass deportations, maybe it'll help a little bit, but the thing is, you're still ruled by a pedophilic corporate elite, and if you don't get rid of that, you're still gonna have a cost of living crisis. Things are not gonna come back, and it's been funny is because the fact is, when I said that about the wealthy who do run this country, about the cost of living crisis, saying like, until you get rid of this elite, this is gonna happen. You know, it pretty much has gone exactly the way I expected. Like the little embarrassing visit to China just kind of proved my point, like who the real tumor on society is. You know, there's not really getting around the bush on that one anymore. I wonder what's over there. But yeah, no, I agree 100%, because the core issue is essentially you've got like the 1%, the ruling class, whatever you want to call them, the Epstein class, who cares? And, you know, they're the ones who are essentially bringing down civilization. All these other things are effectively tertiary. Yeah, we can talk about them, but at the end of the day, we know which is the real problem.
I'm gonna say
you're
this,
wrong.
I don't give a fuck about other flag.
aren't all white. That's the problem.
I don't care about any other flag. The only minority destroying this country are the fucking rich.
Facts.
Real.
Yeah.
Facts. And you know what's funny? It's like you'll see how much attention Chud the Builder gets for what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like I think that's frankly stupid. I'm not really with the some people's like, oh no, this is free speech absolutist. I don't really care about any of that. It's just how does this guy get this much coverage for what he's doing, but then like the American populace just doesn't give a fuck to really. I mean, they're starting to, but it's like Chud the Builder will get 1 million hours of coverage. We'll get ABC coverage, all the major news networks, but they'll never truthfully cover like the SpaceX IPO, how they're literally bro, they're changing all the economic rules that have been in place since forever to allow this
to be
IPO
as self-serving as possible. And the funny part, the best part of all that is they can change the rules to be all they want. It's like a fat, spoiled kid that's like, I want to have infinite candy and be a fat fucking retard and stuff like that. You know, the thing is that like objectively, it's objectively better if they did have less candy and they were less of a greedy fat fuck. But the thing is they're destroying themselves by being a greedy fat fuck. So like, should you stop them from destroying themselves, or you should just, you know, because like at the end of the day, it's like cancer. It's like, you know, feed them more. At the end of the day, it's like let them have their way. It's like, you know, if they want to do their IPO, that's a bunch of manipulation and like produces no tangible value. You know, that's more power to them. It's like, okay, you know, you want to talk about like, you know, the reason why the United States is doing so poorly against Iran. Okay, you know, it turns out that you can only hand money around within your circle so much before you effectively destroy your country's capability. Not anything new. And so like, the thing is, it's just a game of waiting, of letting these spoiled brats in a sort of sense. And it's kind of funny they're calling white collar workers spoiled brats, like that one jackass. The funny part is like giving them their way destroys everything and they destroy themselves. And that's the way I see it. You know, so if they want to go down that route, be my guest. Like that IPO is a perfect example of it. You know, you're the one destroying civilization.
The more I hear about it, the more it pisses me off. Because I think just recently, Fidelity, that was where my last job had my, you know, 401k and retirement in. What do you mean you're gonna lower the eligibility to invest into that IPO from 500k in your account to 2,000? Like you're just opening up the floodgates for regular America. Yeah, bro, it's bad. Like they're
that's crazy.
Essentially the exit liquidity is the regular working person who invested into a 401k their entire lives.
That
like,
is terrible. I hate that shit. It's like with the data centers. It's like Larry Fink. It's like, that's why I'm almost tempted to say, it's like, oh, you should invest in your 401k. I'm like, no, just save cash, man, at this point. I know it's going to get eaten up by inflation, but it's like, you know, do you want your liquidity to be used by like rich pedophiles like Larry Fink to buy homes in America and make you alien in your own country? No, probably not. So I made a post about that on my community post a little while ago. It's like, because they're literally trying to use your liquidity to buy up shit.
What do you mean you're gonna lower the rate from 500,000? 500,000 in your account used to be the limit, and just today they lowered it down to 2,000. So anybody with $2,000 in the Fidelity account is allowed to invest into the space IPO, which is like, oh, they're trying to help the working class. It's like, no,
they want free money.
Liquidity. Yeah,
you are. You're the extra liquidity, and then as soon as like SpaceX crashes, like that's kind of thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you invest in SpaceX with that fucking call where they're like lowering the entry barrier for the IPO to be $2,000, like, dude, if you're gonna cry about being deceived, like you deserve to get like fucking your money stolen at this point. It's like, don't invest in that shit. It's like those stupid cryptocurrencies that come out. It's like, you know, they're like just pump and dump schemes. It's like, oh, the squid coin to the moon, bro, you know, from the Squid Games, you know, and then they buy it, and then like it's a giant pump and dump scheme, and then they like as soon as they buy into it, it like crashes in value. It's like, yeah, because you're their exit liquidity. You're the one.
Buy this.
Yeah, that's the point. Is because he's a media figure. He knows he's popular. He's surrounded by gullible dipshits, and they have money, and so he wants that money.
Yeah, but it's. I don't know. Ever since they're going to a 24-hour model too on the Nasdaq. I think they're.
I heard about that.
Retail investors are done. Like the retail investment, the golden age of like, oh, you know, anyone can participate. Yeah, no, that was all a lie. It's always been a lie. It's kind of obvious to see that it's a lie, but
Yeah.
the amount that they're doing to like just fuck over regular people is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that 401ks are being used for the... Yeah, well, they're using, like, that's kind of the funny part. Just save cash. They're going to crash the economy. Save cash, so at least your cash will be worth something when everything crashes. I probably shouldn't have fucking spent my money on buying another thing, but, like, that's kind of thing. It's like, the thing is save cash for the recession, is because the thing is cash is king in a recession. That's my take. I know everyone's going to say, like, well, Alistair, we have a ton of inflation, so why would you want to hold on to cash? But I was like, well, that's true. If we have a ton of inflation, you know, a bunch of money in your bank account is going to do you dirty. But if there's a deflationary spiral, and you need cash when there's no jobs around, you know, cash is king in a recession. I'm not kidding. You need to be able to pay your bills until the recession's over.
Because it's at this rate, the Iran, like everyone, the Iran war is it's kind of become like a second thought, you know? It's been going on for so long. I feel like people have just kind of in the gas cost, but this is stuff that shows up 6 months, like 6 months, a year. It doesn't really go away when stuff is this bad. So,
yep.
I don't know if people are truly preparing for that. It seems like I'll talk to some people here and there about the war, and they're just like, yeah, but, you know, as long as it doesn't affect me, and I'm just like, man.
But it does.
Yeah, like you just don't get.
Another thing I don't think people understand is if all parties struck a peace agreement, wholesale operations resume as usual.
Cash in gold.
It would take
Gold's
like
another one.
nearly a year or so to remove the mines and the fucking strait and just get everything back to normal. It's here to stay for a while.
Yeah, the imperialist wars have like the imperialist wars. Like one guy pointed out in the chat is like forever wars in the Middle East. You're not just dead, man. Well, that's kind of the thing. Is like they could do the forever wars like 30 years ago because American empire was like #1 or whatever, right? The thing is like the United States is like in its almost like dying stages, and nobody wants to admit it. It's like everything's inefficient. Things are slow as fuck. Quality of things have gone down. It's like, and the United States, stubborn as it is, yeah, it's an empire in decline. Is because stubbornly it doesn't want to address any of the problems inside the country. Okay. And so that's kind of thing. The forever war thing, it's like, it can't even do a forever war. That's how decayed it is. You know, the Iran war is a complete fucking mistake. You know, and so it's just wasting its fucking time. It's like, you know, they're not going anywhere. They're not doing anything. They're just quite literally fucking around, maybe to give like panic calls so they can pump and dump different markets and stuff like that. That's what I personally think. What's up, man?
Born too early to fight a war in the Middle East. Born too late to fight in a war in the Middle East. Born just in the right time to fight in the Middle East.
Yeah. Gotta love it.
Literally,
born just in time.
That's what we're gonna be remembered for, bro. Because imagine the thing that's really sad is the people that the majority of Trump's voter base, right, was alive for Bush in Iraq.
Yeah.
So they saw how much that like that literally changed the outcome of their futures. The whole free trade narrative that actually might have worked if we didn't burn so much money fighting a war that produced 0 results.
Yeah.
But then like to allow the guy to allow the same party to do it again, and then kind of just be like, well, we have to, guys, we have to fight that war. It's baffling how you have. It's not even like you're doomed to repeat history. It's like you want to repeat history. You're trying to repeat history.
The worst part about the whole oil thing is because they're like doing the whole drill baby drill. It's like, you know, the funny part is like the whole electrification stuff, because now the gas prices are skyrocketing. The United States has stupidly made itself oil dependent as much as it possibly could, right? And the thing is like that's going to really bite it in the ass in the long run, especially if the entire economy runs on it, because they literally set up no alternative infrastructure to produce things. They don't have any good, like, urban transportation, major metro centers. You know, they don't really have, like, they didn't support EVs. They, in fact, were incredibly hostile towards EVs and hybrids, you know, to save on gas. And so, like,
redundancy.
Yeah, literal no redundancy. And then on top of that, they didn't set up any, like, alternative power infrastructure to, like, you know, make electricity cheaper. They literally just stuck with coal and oil. And the funny part is that the Chinese have been going heavily into solar as well. Not necessarily that I think solar is perfect and stuff like that, but it does cut down energy costs, like, in total, right? And so, you know, on top of that, they're also very, like, pro-EV, and that's going to be an interesting one how that plays out long run as well, is because the thing is, the United States fucked off on both of those opportunities and thought it was just hippie bullshit. And it's like, no, these were future technologies that were going to make things generally cheaper. You were just too stupid to realize it. So...
I think the problem is if you have like an economic system based around mining and natural resource extraction, and everyone's bought
Oh,
into that,
it's the indigenous
then all of a
syndicalists
sudden
who
it becomes
coming
like
in.
super expensive to transition. Like in Australia, this is a big issue because we should be a giant solar panel. Realistically, we have a shit ton of desert.
Indigenous
that is
syndicalists, like which video am I making fun of like blue collar workers? I want to hear that one. Is because you're going down the Palantir bullshit of we got to side with the blue collar workers and the HR people though against the white collar workers. Where did I say that? I want to see where I'm like anti blue collar workers because there's a ton of blue collar workers in my audience. Got a car mechanic, got a machinist, got a welder. So it's like I'd love to hear it because I saw you talking smack in that comment section. Apparently I've set up some false alliance between blue-collar workers and white-collar workers to go against rich people. I don't think my hatred for rich people has really changed, but, I'd love to hear that one. Type that in the comment, big boy. I'd love to hear it, Syndicalist, because I heard you talking smack in the other guy's comment section, City Cucker's comment section. So, and Chinese can lend its industrial knowledge capacity to any country it wants to go solar, yeah. Didn't mean to interrupt the other guy. Sorry about that one. I had to just, rip Syndicalist and you assholes because I saw his little, two-faced comment in the other comment section. Be like, yeah, dude, you ain't getting away with it this time. It's like, two-faced fuck.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, in Australia, it would basically be the best country for solar power. We would be really,
oh, yeah, you got a huge fucking
giant.
desert.
Yeah, but the problem is that like all of the mining giants are obviously investing in uranium mines, so they're really trying to push nuclear power, which would be like 10 times more expensive in Australia compared to solar. Which is just like energy solutions kind of always end up getting like fucked over because you'll have like it's more important to know what the elite are investing in and what they're profiting off of than what's actually like a net positive for the common good.
Yeah, the thing is like whenever it comes to the elite, it's like and this is gonna sound pragmatic and cutthroaty as fuck, is to get the elite to kind of recognize that some things are just better in their interest as like more of like a pragmatic performance take. But then again, our elites are fucking retarded. So, that's the thing. Like, what they...
Redundancy is so important. Remember,
yep.
a college, not what I'm talking about, a project I did in college was, I had this really cool, it was my favorite professor. He was, he actually grew up in the Chinese political prisoner camp. He was like our logistics professor. But, the project my team did was, looking at the manufacturing process of the A380 Airbus.
Yeah.
And while it wasn't really like a, as far as the sales perspective went, it was like suboptimal trying to market it because they went for this sort of like, they thought they were going to do this hub sort of, that the future of airplane travel is going to be by hubs where you take a larger aircraft to a major hub and then take a smaller one.
Yeah.
Whereas people prefer to just go directly straight to the destination. But as far as the manufacturing and assembly process went, it was actually a beauty, like a marvel of logistics. And the fact it was like, at almost every step in the chain, if something failed for some reason, they usually had some sort of backup in place to get the parts and airframe and avionics and everything to the assembly plant, whether it's by another aircraft with a beluga,
what's up,
or barge, or car carrier, or ferry, or railroad, or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Real planning. See, that's everything that we lack in this country.
I do got a fun conversation. Like I'm gonna be doing a collaboration stream, everybody, with American Rail Club here soon, because we're gonna be talking about like infrastructure. I know that's a bit of an autistic collaboration stream, but like I think this is gonna be a much more I think this is gonna be a much better interview than with City Cucker. City Cucker was a waste of time. Okay, the guy who runs American Rail Club, we could start talking about urban infrastructure, high-speed rail. I think this is gonna be a much more productive and fun conversation. I do hope to see you guys around. Yeah. And he's 10 times less of a spurg. He's actually a really cool guy. I was actually talking to him in DMs about that because we were like, he was asking me if we wanted to do like a collaboration stream between our channels. And I said, hell yeah, I would love to. We can start talking about American urban planning, the most autistic thing on the face of the planet, but it's more productive than whatever the fuck City Cucker's doing. So yeah, we're going to be talking about trains.
Cool.
I gotta figure out how to get out of this cave. I'm stuck down here.
Alistair exposed.
What game are you playing now?
Alistair exposed. I'm playing Hightail.
Oh, and speaking
Uh,
of, shout out to
Oh.
the dentist from Payday 2 for teaching me the importance of planning.
Okay. I don't even know where I'm at. Is this like an underground cave? This guy's gonna fucking throw bombs at me. Fuck you, bro.
Hightail's fucking great and all. I just feel like playing Modern Warfare for some fucking reason.
That's totally fair. This guy's throwing bombs the wrong way. Ha, get fucked, retard.
I've been binging
There's a-
the fuck out of PvE co-op games like Helldivers and Titanfall 2 and Payday.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about trains, everybody. Dark woke.
Is the stream over?
No, the stream's still going, man. I'm still streaming. We're still just chilling. I'm just chilling and chatting with you guys while I play a game, is because I think it's just kind of fun to do. Anybody's free to come up on stage. Maybe they'll do this as like Wage Rage Radio. Guys, do you like it while I play a game on the screen while you can hear everybody else in the stage like talking in the background? Do you guys like that format? It seems like so, because it looks like the viewership's a lot better rather than just streaming the straight Discord chat. Because I think just streaming the straight Discord chat gets boring as shit. And so I think playing a game while we're chilling and chatting seems to be a lot more fun and enjoyable.
Definitely the method.
Yep, that's not a bad idea. I do need to get back to making regular vids.
If you wanna rage bait yourself, go back to like 2018 to like 2022,
Mhm.
and look
Okay,
at
man.
all the content creators that are big in the, I would say, like right-wing space, and how
Yeah.
they talked about solar energy across the world. Like they would make jokes
Yeah.
like, what if the sun doesn't come out then? It's like just pure small brain thinking that like really holds back any positive change, because it's always the dumbest take.
Yep.
But since they're on that platform, you know that it's gonna reach the people that are in charge.
Okay,
I got
okay.
another one for you. You know, the windmills, like there was footage of a windmill years ago, like 7 years ago, just falling apart, and there was oil in its, I don't know the proper term, but it used oil as lubrication so it could help it, you know, turn properly than just
All
absolute
the windows
friction.
are fake.
And these retards were like, you use oil, and it's like, yeah, the point is to reduce usage of fossil fuels. No
Dudes
one
do not
ever said
underst-
oil disappears, yay!
Dudes
Like,
do not
nobody said that.
understand the concept of lubrication. You know?
Like, seriously.
Now you're describing
think,
City Cucker all over again.
Yeah, even electric cars have a lot of oil components, a lot of hydraulic components in them. You know,
Yeah.
it's just the main plant is not a combustion
It
engine.
burns.
Yeah, and the point is to reduce.
Yeah. That's always the fear-bane
Jesus.
stuff that they do, is like, look at Europe, they don't use any gas. And it's like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
they do. What the fuck?
Yeah, they just are smart enough to understand that being reliant on one source might not be the smartest thing for the long-term plan if you're trying to expand an economy and grow it. It's like
Yeah.
simple things to understand, but you have to purposely stick your head in the ground just to have a reason to argue. And a lot of the stuff in America is just so there's a reason to argue.
Yeah. No, I agree. People just like to fucking argue and nitpick for like whatever reason. Again, City Cucker.
Like, bro, I'm trying to give you cheaper energy bills. I'm trying to make your life better, but it's like,
But how
trying
can
to
I
get rid of
rent
my
seek if
oil.
prices don't go up? Like, did you ever think about that? I can't rent seek if prices don't go up.
Dude, I'm so fucking tired of the petro stance of like, gas can't get too cheap, then we'll just collapse. We'll fucking burst in the flames if gas gets too cheap. We gotta keep it just where
You
it's
just gotta get the
max-
wages, you know, just on like borderline
max
starvation to keep them working
Yep,
hard.
max profit. Not too high where they'll stop buying gas, but just at that right level where they'll spend the most amount of money.
But my enclosure. I must rent seek. I am an American, you know, CEO, and I must rent seek. I must take as much money as
Also-
possible and be an absolute
also-
living tumor on all of civilization. I'm probably gonna get
Also,
stabbed by my own spikes that I'm setting up here.
So petroleum is
Whatever.
used in so much plastic and polymer production, so
Yep.
yeah, it won't go away, but it'll it'll help out that.
I'm a
industry, 'cause
rich
now the,
pedophile, and therefore I must rent seek.
how do you guys feel about? Because someone pointed this out to me, I've kind of noticed it. But how do you guys feel about the stance of like healthy food, because remember back in the day, being a very like health focused, non-GMO, organic used to be a very like lefty lip thing, but now it's becoming, you know, you see what's the guy in
The
the Trump
rights
administration?
co-opted it with RFK.
Yeah, it's like, bro, you guys are the ones that poisoned the water, have made all the regulations worse. And it's like, what are you talking about?
And
We
then
need
did the
non-GMO.
carnivore diet LARP. Hey, I
The
eat a
carnivore
whole stick
diet,
of butter
dude.
and a plate of bacon every day.
Dude,
and that's not hyperbole.
I have
There were
never
people that actually did that.
understood that shit where people are like, I'm gonna melt like 10 sticks of butter and drink it all. Dude, that's nasty. You're a fat fuck, dude. Like, unironic. But butter is healthier than olive oil because my Vikings or some shit. It's like,
Fucking,
Like, don't get me wrong, I like butter, but, like,
doctor's office for fucking high blood pressure and high
drinking
cholesterol.
liquid butter is so nasty. Like, Liver Cuck would always do that shit. He would like eat bull's testicles and like, you know, like drink like whole butter and stuff like that. It's like, number one, it's like, didn't they find out his like abs are like washboards? They were like implanted leather or some shit.
Yeah, bro.
No, but that, I remember came out, he was like on like 20 grand a month worth of steroids and performance enhancers.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Mistakes, bro. Come on.
Alistair, do you remember with Liver King? I love that video you made years ago when you mocked his masculinity LARP and basically was like, oh, it's his own personal pride parade. Just
Yeah, dude, that shit's so gay. It's like, dude, it's like the funny part. It's like the funny part is I figured like the fucking city cucker retards would have agreed on that one. It's like the whole masculinity LARP, dude. Let's just all live and let live. It's like, you know, just go on with your life. Just be a normal human being. It's like this whole performative crap. Luckily, that's kind of dying down, but that stuff was so stupid. It's like, you know, your affirmative masculinity shit. You're gonna like take a bunch of steroids and eat bull's testicles to prove that you're a man. It's like, dude, you are so retarded.
You know what's the most frustrating thing about that too is that like that style of masculinity or that style of like the alpha bro bodybuilder thing can't exist without modern society. You know, like if you wanted to eat meat every day back in like medieval Europe, either A, you were like some farmhand that was just lucky enough that your farm owner was just willing to give you that stuff every day, or B, you were just that farm owner that was just slaughtering a cow every time he had a craving for meat. Everybody else was just like surviving off of jerky and like barley and stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's
or
the
you're
thing.
very wealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to Warren. Would you like roid chicken or Roundup grown lettuce? You know, that's kind of the thing. I wish it would actually just like go with like a more efficient way of producing things, like fix the cost of living crisis. Like, here's kind of the thing, right? There has to be a better way to like make these things without like, you know, making them as unhealthy as they are. They're just cutting corners and cutting costs.
Dude. Yeah. I saw that monocropping, dude.
Yeah, I love that. Someone got commented. I love that City Cuck is saying that you're down on men because you're not telling them not to live up to unfair expectations. Apparently, I am anti-men because of that fact or some shit like that. Live and let live. Like, that's kind of the funny part. I told like a lot of.
Just admitted it. It's unfair.
Yeah. Yeah. No, City Cucker's gonna cut
oh my God,
goat
Alistair,
milk and
you're
cheese.
so unfair for advocating for conditions where people should just be who they are, not performative culture war.
Like retards, yeah. Yeah, terrible me, dude.
So evil.
Yeah, that's kind of the funny part is because City Cucker was attacking my wife about that, being like, you know, something along those lines, like, you know, you gotta perform, otherwise she's gonna divorce rape you or some shit like that. I'm like, whatever. I was like, I've talked with my wife plenty of times. We think you're retarded, dude. I even showed her the fucking, you know, videos, and like we were just like laughing our asses off at that stuff. Like, dude, you're retarded. It's like, you know, just because you had like a gold digger for a woman. Hey, Indigenous Syndicalist, welcome back, man. You want to explain something to me, dude? You know, what's this shit over here? I want to see this one. You know, we're gonna go to it. What's this shit, dude? Like, you know, what's your beef with me? It's like, apparently I make fun of blue collar workers. Why don't you explain that one, dude? I'd love to see those videos where I actually do that. You know, he not that long ago made anti-blue collar men video. Really? I'd love to see that, dude. Welcome to chat. I'm gonna keep bringing this up until you explain like how I made anti-blue collar work videos, because I want to see this shit. Bring it out, big boy. So yeah,
we
no,
want to see
that's the
receipts.
thing.
Where did Alistair say this?
Yeah, I ain't letting you. Like, I figured you were a chill guy, and then you were fucking going being double-faced in another comment section about somebody bitching out. Like, I ain't gonna forget that, dog. So, you know, City Cuck literally uses Zoom to record his videos. Nothing else needs to be said. That's some peak boomer shit, man. So,
Bro, get to the
like,
Zoom
yeah.
call and then it clicks record.
Yeah.
Zoom is very boomer coded.
Yeah, Alex Carp
Like,
in the
dude.
chat. Hey, Alex Carp, indigenous syndicalist, explain to me your Alex Carp talking point, right? You know, HR Blue Collar Alliance, I know you want it. Come on, man, don't be a pussy. You talked in my chat twice tonight.
Like, hey, bro, if you have the proof, you'd think like 99% of people in this community would want to know that. The truth is with you. What do you have to lose? Come on.
Yeah.
Post it, bitch. Post it,
Yeah,
bitch.
and I gave indigenous syndicalist like several likes because he made some good talking points, but like the whole anti-blue collar shit, I want to see where that talking point comes from. Is that like, you know, my ancient beef with the infrared community, which I don't really have a beef with them, which is kind of funny, is because they literally meat shielded like blue collar workers to antagonize white collar workers, kind of like Alex Carp, but you know, neither here nor there. Yeah.
Who also got doxxed and was at a CIA fucking center FBI building.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't really like beef with
I
the
meant
infrared guys. Yeah, I don't know what they're up to these days. They're doing their own thing, man. I ain't got no beef with them, but like it's like if you start going like the whole like blue collar LARP talking points to just like antagonize white collar workers, I'm just gonna assume you're a fucking, you know, Alex Carp shill. You know, you're probably like funded by Alex Carp.
Oh, sure.
I feel like a lot of the types just couldn't hang out in like really like super hardcore like right-wing spaces. Like whenever I heard like that MAGA communism stuff, like it was interesting. Yeah, I mean, like, it was interesting insofar as, like, okay, you want to rehash, like, this third positionist, like, right,
I liked some of their ideas originally. I might get dogpiled by you guys on this one. I liked some of their ideas originally. They wanted to reach out to the MAGA working class. There's an old video of me debating Voidburn, you know, and also Rev, which is like one of the chairman of the ACP currently, you know, about this topic. It's like, I like your ideas of trying to reach out to the MAGA working class. It's just like they were too busy strawmanning the shit out of me to kind of recognize that. So, you know, I used to kind of beef with them a lot, but I just ended up going my own way.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. The thing with the MAGA comms is I don't have a problem building bridges and working with people you don't like wholly agree with, but like the concept just makes no fucking sense. It's like saying, "Oh, I'm a Buddhist, but I'm also a fucking Nazi." Like what?
Well, the thing is that like their right to check the pulse on like MAGA is because they are discontented with the capitalist class, particularly the offshoring, right? But the thing is, they don't understand MAGA, okay? And that's what I said in my older videos, is that, like, you know, they understand MAGA and understanding what they're mad at, they just don't understand the logic, namely that most of the people on the right who are doing these so-called socialistic things against corporations, the corporate hate motors and stuff like that, are not mad at corporations or CEOs because they're capitalists. They're mad at them for being hypocritical capitalists and not following the rules of capitalism. I even had, like, a buddy of mine talk about that too. It's like, you know, it's like, I understand where they're coming from, but the thing is, at the end of the day, MAGA is fundamentally, ideologically, like, libertarian right-wing capitalists. Okay, not videos. Okay, so indigenous syndicalists responded. I appreciate it. Okay, not videos, but arguments are similar to many colleges' better arguments, like people break their bodies. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's like, the thing is that like the thing about the breaking bodies part, right, is because the fact is at the end of the day, you have to acknowledge that, and I have buddies who have worked in blue collar work. You know, one, you know, who I work with is a pretty nice guy that's, you know, transitioning into like more of an engineering role because his body's given out because he's getting to his 40s, right? You know, that's just a fundamental fact. It's like, if you're doing blue collar work, it's hard on the body, man. And so the thing is that like, it's a tough thing is because like once your body gives out, your money maker goes bye-bye, dude. And so like that's not necessarily like a shot at blue collar workers. And I'm not saying college is better. I'm going to be honest with you. College doesn't have the payout it used to have. Okay. So like, you know, it's not even that great. I personally have thought for years college was a bubble. Oh, what the heck is that noise? All right. Who's getting booted off the stage?
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Yeah. So like, that's kind of thing. College was a bubble already, you know, in my honest opinion. And so when the college bubble bursted, you know, great inflation went down and stuff like that. And college degrees aren't worth as much as they were. Not everybody needs to go to college, okay? And that's kind of the funny part about like college being like the superior thing. It should have never been a mandatory thing that you go to just to participate in the workforce. So, you know, that being said, it's like, you know, and it's not, and blue collar work doesn't even pay that low. Surprisingly, fun fact, you can make a lot of money in blue collar work. It's just the thing is a lot of the times it's seasonal. Like HVAC is very seasonal, stuff like that. So thing is that like there's trade-offs with everything, you know. But you know, I'm not here to worship white collar workers as like inherently better, is because the fact is I think college was an overdue bubble that needed to collapse anyways, is because it should have never been, you know, a one-way ticket to just entering in the workforce, and that they tried to do that was fucking stupid. You know.
You know what?
You often have a very comparable total compensation package to white collar work because a lot of blue collar trades are
But that's just like being too mean to blue collar workers. Fuck you.
I like how the goalpost shifted from you have a video shitting on blue collar workers. Now it was something you said in some conversation somewhere.
Yeah, that's all. It's always that backtracking shit. It's like he's like, as long as I don't see you catch you bitching about me in another comment section doing that like backstabby shit, I ain't gonna care. But it's like, you know, I was a little bit like pissed at that one because I've chatted with you in my comment section. You seem like a cool guy. That was a bit backstabby. I'm a little salty about that, but you know.
That was gay as fuck.
Blue collar
Yeah,
work
it
is
is.
a good foundation to set yourself up to go into either white collar work or to get into that really specialized blue collar work where you're working less with your body and more with certifications and skills training.
Yeah.
This was when I made the video on the, you know, on trades and why they're telling you to not go to college and go to trades. I heard that a lot. They were like, "Bro, why are you shitting on trades?" I'm like, it's kind of, even the people who work trades in the comments are saying that their bodies are hurt. So this is not like a made-up talking point. This is the reality of working with your body on your feet 12 hours a day sometimes. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, I used to do roofing. It's not an easy job. You come home exhausted.
Yeah.
You get good pay.
It's not like a shit on anybody. It's like, you know, this isn't the 2000s anymore. There's no shitting on people who go to those jobs. So
Yeah, Alistair, do you remember that boomer? Do you remember that boomer asshole that was in one of your posts? I think it was. He was just doing the whole, just learn a trade, bro. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I worked a trade for over 4 years. I still can't afford to live on my own.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
I love those idiots.
4 years,
Yeah,
bro?
they're the
I didn't
great,
make
dude.
one until I was in it for 15 years.
Suffer some more,
Like,
bro.
oh shit.
Just be broke
You got
for a
soft
decade,
hands.
bro. It's easy.
You got soft hands.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta
You know,
love that
He was
bullshit.
nickeling and diming when the nickel was like, could actually get you shit.
You know what's messed up about that though? It feels like there's like kind of a push to flood like the trades with like a lot of labor to kind of devalue like the value of it.
You would
One of
love
my older
video,
videos
bro.
says exactly that. Like, and like, so does Ghosted say that as well. Because like that's kind of thing we've been talking about this for a while. It's like they're just gonna flood the trades, and then 5 or 10 years down the line, they're gonna be like, well, you should have gotten a college degree, you stupid tradesman. You know, should have known that, like, you know. Yeah, it's cyclic.
Like
yeah.
You know, it's something that I've held like ever since like this whole
Yeah,
AI
see, there's somebody
thing's been
who
like
works
kind
in
of blowing up.
HVAC in the chat. It's like, yeah, it doesn't sometimes, and that's kind of the funny part. When they say like, oh, you can make 6 figures in the trades, they mean the people who own their own companies. Once again, the nepotistic rich, like oinker babies who own shit are the ones making the 6 figures, not the average, you know, apprentices.
Or they got into it at a time and now they have their masters, you know, certifications, so you can actually pull that kind of money consistently.
Trades is the new CS degree in social media. Absolutely. It's going to take 10 years, but then they're going to saturate it. They're going to flood it, and then they're going to gaslight everybody who has like body issues at the age of 40 that, well, they should have learned something else.
They should have been learning to use AI to code, dude.
That's
Yeah.
what's gonna happen.
They probably will do that, is because AI, like, the thing is like, AI is not panning out for software. Software is starting to make a comeback. Not that I say it like, I like software nowadays, but like, that's kind of thing. Like, AI assisted software development is probably going to be the future, and then I could see them in 5 or 10 years mocking the fucking blue collar guys after they destroy their bodies. Well, like, well, you should learn how to code with AI, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have vibe coded, bro. Vibe coding is awesome. Vibe coding really good, bro.
Yep. Just give us some time, but you know, again, some people got to learn the hard way, because you can try and tell them, you know, it's like you can try and tell somebody you can take the horse to the river, but you can't make them drink. Somebody has to learn the hard ways. Some people are just going to cope all the way to the end.
Yeah.
What's there left to learn? Because you have to ask, okay, why did college degrees become worthless? Because they sold a lot of the tech jobs away. They like purposely made it harder for entry-level people to enter the market. Why, once you flood into the trades, what are they going to do to you? They're just going to make it harder for you to find a decent trade job. And then you're going to be in this consistent cycle of them getting tired of having to pay you what you're worth, and then pivoting until you're essentially, you become too old to chase the career pivot. You know?
Angel made a very good point. I've been AI coding all day. Dude, I've been using AI to code shit. Like, 2 weekends ago, I was like coding like fucking crazy with AI, basically getting it to write unit tests for me. It is great, and if you know what you're doing. Vibe coding is outdating. If you want context engineering for the current paradigm, that's the future in my honest opinion. Like, knowing how to use the AI to give the proper context, to give the instructions that you want with the exact like knowledge background that you have, right? That is where it's going to go. That's the future, in my honest opinion.
No,
Like, here's the thing.
I'm putting really good food on.
Yeah. The funny part is now that token costs have exploded, the risk for like hallucination needs to go down. So they're gonna want like proper AI engineers, people who know what they're doing to get the AI to get the proper output.
Like that charged 60,000.
Oh, that's real, dude.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah, it is. It is because like the thing is that like if you're spending all your time vibe coding, you're like, well, okay, ChatGPT, write me a game engine, no mistakes this time, and they type it 200 times. Of course, they're gonna get a 60K bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing some posts about people that would like spin up an agent that just keeps doing like it just constantly reiterating on the same thing in like a 24-hour time span. And they were like doing that on GitHub Copilot before they added all the new rate restrictions and like the token pricing. And doing that now would be so incredibly expensive, and that's the main reason why like all the pricing models of recent shifted is because they're trying to show profitability, which they never will.
Yeah. Indigenous Syndicalist, I respect your honesty in that one, okay? Now you're being honest. I like that you're leveling with me on this one, okay? To be fair, my two-face was because I'm a bit bitter on my struggle in the dating and trades recently. And I don't even like City Crusher. He's bitter and old, honestly. What the fuck am I doing? Emotions, Dan. Dude, I ain't gonna hold it against you because you're being honest, right? Okay, now you kind of explain to me, because, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. You think I haven't been bitter a little bit about the white-collar market? I don't have a beef against blue-collar guys, even though I'm being a little bit salty. Even the fact is I get jackasses every once in a while. See, the thing is now the truth has come out is because blue-collar work does not pay out as much as people pretend it is. All the people making the six figures, man, are the people who own their own businesses, or senior and all that stuff, right? And then all the apprentice people are doing the dirty work, doing the hard work, getting maybe 60K a year. Like, there's another guy, HVAC in this chat, has to work multiple jobs to get by, okay? We're all in this together, man. I'm not even a senior engineer. But the thing is like, my buying power is significantly watered down because of outsourcing and stuff like that. I fucking get it, man. Heart to heart, we're all getting screwed to some extent, okay? The worst part is that our incomes are not necessarily bad. It's the cost of living that's bad, right? And if people can put their differences aside on this matter and start coming together based on class issues, maybe things can get better, okay? I get where you're coming from. I get why you're bitter. I know why you're angry. I've been thinking the same things about myself too. And I appreciate you coming forward and telling me that in the chat and being honest. I'm glad you're opening up to me, because I don't want to have a beef against anybody. I'm not somebody who likes to hold a beef with people. So I'm glad you kind of were honest. I'm glad you were able to come and chat with me and, square things away. Because the fact is, at the end of the day, we're all in the same boat, dude. We're all suffering from the same boat of the average house price being quite literally $500,000. So I appreciate you stopping by, man. Glad you can square that away with me.
Back in my day, a house used to cost $1 million in previous currency. Yeah, like totally, bro, totally.
Yeah.
You totally didn't buy it for like a stick of gum.
Okay, speaking of which, I've actually been meaning to, because I've been a viewer of yours for a while now, Alistair, and something that like I've noticed, and it's not just you, but I've noticed across the Jimmy Talks, across like a lot of these people who are like, there's this kind of a meta conversation that I feel that has been going on, where it's like people will bring up the H-1Bs, or they'll bring up just other immigrants, or they'll bring up the women entering the workforce. There seems to be like this implication that what like is essentially wrong with the world, not just here in the States, is just that there's this overabundance of like labor or of workers or whatever, and that's like what's driving costs up. But it's like when you look at countries where they're actively depopulating, or they're like closing off from immigration, such as Japan or South Korea, or a lot of the European countries, it doesn't seem like costs are coming down really, and it seems like a lot of wages actually end up stagnant in that situation. So it's I've been wanting to pick your brain about like what's the way out then, because it's like if you stop the immigration, that doesn't seem to help really. It doesn't really seem like that.
You're absolutely right. It isn't immigration. Yeah, it is not immigration. I'll go ahead and agree with you on that one. It's just greed. It's just capitalist. They literally just want more money. They want to squeeze blood from stones. And I'm just saying the quiet part out loud when I point that stuff out. I was like, yeah, I can talk about how they're using, immigrant labor to undercut domestic labor, but at the end of the day, it's like, at the end of the day, what's really causing it down is just the suppression of wages, right? That's all it is. It's just the capitalist class that just want to underpay people. I don't disagree with you.
But in the last 20 years, things, for some reason, got pretty wrong in all the West. If you look at the data, the U.S. deficit Europe deficit, and on top of that, you look at the growth in real wages across all the West, and everything seems to be seems to be downhill. Maybe from this from the 80s, maybe. What?
Yes, the 1970s.
I wonder why.
So I'll tell you why. So
Everything seems so
we
well
decoupled from the
before.
gold standard, and what happened was when you decouple from the gold standard, they can print out as much money as they possibly want. COVID just kind of exacerbated. This is what catapulted it to everybody's face line and stuff like that. The dynamics is this, okay, is that, like, you know, if you print out more money, it becomes less valuable. Now, here's the thing. It inflates assets value, okay? You know, and so here's kind of the interesting thing. If you're a capitalist, you control the central bank, you and your little pedophile buddies can basically decide, like, how much you're going to stimulate the economy by dumping liquidity in it. You can just print money, okay? And so if you have the choice to print money, and you know what these are going to be the consequences, A, it's going to cause a ton of inflation. Everybody's wages don't necessarily have to pace with inflation, so they're effectively taking a pay cut. And B, your assets also appreciate in value as well. Would you as a capitalist not do that?
Yeah, speaking of assets, you know what else kind of assets that increase?
What's that?
Their assets.
Yeah. But no. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically all there is with it. That's the reason why you had the decoupling from, like, the gold standard, and the reason why inflation happened is because a lot of people, especially on the right, talk about how the same amount of gold is used to buy the same house these days, and it's partially true. It's because the fact is that, like, when it comes to the amount of value a house is, like, it's probably gotten cheaper, a little bit cheaper in terms of gold, is because technically, like, housing has been getting more efficient. It's just the thing is inflation's eating up the wages. One of the funny things about capitalism, why, you know, for the longest time, like, you didn't really notice, like, the level of exploitation, you know, for the longest time, is because technological innovation and efficiency, you know, outpaced, like, how much people were being exploited. So your standard of living went up faster than, like, the exploitation could kind of, like, elucidate on that. Now that's the case, the technology is not advancing as fast, and on top of that, you have a ton of exploitation going on, and so people are just getting infinitely poor. The concept of a trillionaire, really? Like, you know, you can't convince me anybody could ever earn $1 trillion. I mean, you couldn't even convince me people could earn $1 billion, but yet we have billionaires. So, you know, that's the thing.
We're heading directly into the abyss because I think that no government is addressing the core issues of debt, spending, and it seems that all parties, regardless of their political position, seem to be doing the same, but with different words, and that's what baffles me. There's no way out. We eventually are going to collapse, like worse than 2008.
I agree. Like, that's kind of thing. Here's the point. It's like, this is where capitalism collapses and you get a deflationary cycle. It's like when they don't pay people enough money just to even spend or even stimulate the economy, it's just inevitable that what's going to happen is that when people don't spend money to buy things, companies don't actually sell products, so they don't turn a profit. When companies don't turn profits, they lay people off. And people who are laid off that don't have jobs don't have income, so they can't buy things. And that's where the deflationary cycle begins. And you're kind of seeing this right now with all the layoffs going on. Is because the fact is, I think we're already entering into a recession. It's just the thing, you haven't really felt it yet because, you know, prices haven't really fully corrected yet. But as demand goes down and, you know, people are going to cope about it, say that, like, well, technically you can do prices independent of demand. That's bullshit. I've seen prices at the grocery store go down is because people just can't buy things. The thing is people don't have an income. They can't buy things. They have to lower prices because nobody can buy their shit. So, you know, that should, hopefully we get a good correction where prices go back to nominally being normal after this recession. But I already think we're already tumbling into one, and people like the media and the capitals are all just kind of coping about it and lying about it.
I think, speaking of that correction, y'all think, China's gonna make a move at Taiwan and try and...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they have no reason not to now.
It'll be really funny.
Yeah,
It'll be really
the United
funny.
States is embarrassingly pathetic on the geopolitical stage. They fucked up with Iran. They're so embarrassingly stupid and incompetent internally. Yeah, they're 100% going to take Taiwan. They're probably not going to do it militarily. Because here, let's talk about, like, the geopolitics of Taiwan a little bit, okay? So it's a leftover from the Chinese Civil War, okay, between the communists and the nationalists. Okay, the nationalists fled to the island of Taiwan when the Civil War concluded. You know, the communist government, the People's Republic of China, tried to take it over plenty of times, but they couldn't really get it because the fact is the United States intervened and kind of helped protect it. Okay, and so here's kind of the interesting thing is because technically that Civil War is still going on. Technically, okay? That's why, like, the Chinese government's talking about, like, you know, technically they're a part of China. The United States doesn't want to go within, like, full on recognizing its independence. You probably noticed that political limbo between recognizing Taiwan's independence and just kind of ignoring it. Is because, you know, if they say it's Taiwan's independence and give it recognition, then they risk China actually doing a full-scale invasion on it. But if they just recognize it as part of China, well, then they lose their point in the first place, right? So they keep it in this, like, limbo to basically stall out the Civil War as much as possible. Is because, you know, China is very much part of, like, saying, oh, it's Chinese Taipei, it belongs to China because of Chinese heritage reasons or whatever, right? And the United States is like, well, no, it has independence, right? And that's how the dynamics of that politics work out, you know, when it comes to Taiwan. But yeah, they're going to 100%. They've already said it in, like, many of their government documents. They don't even acknowledge it as an independent country, so yeah.
Truthfully speaking, at, like, this point, because of, like, America trying to replace Taiwan with Israel, I'm not even sure how long that's gonna last, where, like, Taiwan is, like, in that limbo Civil War thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's technically, Civil War's been over for, like, 75 years. Like, the Civil War concluded in 1949, so it's like, you know, it's really just gonna be, like, you know, the PRC invading and conquering or whatever, right? You know, so... Funny enough, they get through the recruits. They are not medically fit since they are poisoned our food and stuff. Yeah, that's true. The only way to earn $1 trillion is to be a nepo baby, and honestly, the collapse is just better for the poor because Hollywood and Las Vegas are already collapsed. They're ghost towns. See, nobody goes to Vegas anymore because nobody can afford to. You know, that's a perfect example of something that's going to collapse. It already kind of is collapsing because nobody can afford it. But yeah. Ooh, it's been a fun night streaming. I've been enjoying the conversations. Got to square a couple of things away and have a good discussion with my own guys and have a good discussion on the stage. But it is getting a bit late and I kind of want to go to bed. But yeah, enjoyed your guys' company. So I'm going to go ahead and close off the stream. I hope to see you guys in future streams. Yes, I'm going to be making more videos in the future. I keep saying that I'm going to do that, but the thing is, like, you know, a city cucker and his retardation just kept coming around the corner. And I had the need to actually just give a full disavowalment to his stupid ass. But I'm not going to really be talking about him anymore, because he's going to write a million, like, you know, 1 hour long video essays crying about me for the foreseeable future. So he's going to do his own thing. I'm going to continue going back on with my standard content. I've been already doing that on my community post. I got another video coming out. But yeah, no, we're going to continue things back on track, is because the fact is we're not going to let him derail like what we already talked about on this channel. With that being said, if you enjoyed the stream, I hope to see you in future streams, and I hope to see you in future videos. Take it easy. Get some green hats in the chat.